First of all, most comfortable chair I've ever sat on.
They're great, right?
I don't know. I feel like when I come here or when I come do this podcast, it's my third time on it, I feel like I'm in the future. All right? I feel like you got things that aren't even out yet, right? I just feel like this chair, the general public can't even have access to.
No, but they do. We've had these for years.
But whatever they
These are great.
They're beautiful. Then I feel like I never drank water out of
Metal cup.
yeah, and
We're
I feel
sustainable here.
I feel like there's a reason for everything that you do, right?
But there's definitely a reason for metal cups. You really shouldn't be drinking out of plastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again,
I mean, I do. I drink a plastic water bottle. Someone gives me one, but I avoid them whenever I can.
yeah. Of course, we all know the plastics. When I'm drinking out of plastic bottles myself, and I don't know. I don't see that much of a.
It's gonna turn you into a chick.
No, maybe. Is this even real water? What kind of water,
it's water.
is this?
It's filtered.
All right. Filtered water.
Yeah. What is it like? It's a super filter. Some crazy filter.
Definitely a special machine that's
Yeah.
you can't even unplug. That
Yeah.
Right? You can't get this
It's a
water
heavy
outside
duty.
this room. You
It's-
can't get the water outside the room.
Quite good water, right? It's very delicious.
And then you got a whole. And I don't know if anybody's ever talked about your area
It's a lot of
on
garbage.
your side of the table.
Yeah.
There's just so much shit going on over there.
a lot going on.
Right? There's tins. There's
I have mammoth teeth. I got an arrowhead, a legit arrowhead. It's probably 500,000 years old.
you got soil on your bookshelf out there.
Yes.
What?
there's
I mean,
soil.
I've never seen anybody jar soil before.
Well, that was from a gentleman who runs White Oaks Pastures. His name is Will Harris, and he has this amazing farm. It's a regenerative farm, and he gave us 2 pieces of soil. Was that Carl barking? He wants a fight. He didn't get enough biting me this morning.
One more offers.
Carl's getting hard, dude. He bit my finger. That was a real yipe that when he bit me this morning, I was like, yo. Carl goes after
No,
you.
yeah, you went after me.
But anyway, that soil, one of them is a jar of regenerative soil, which means soil that is how a farm is supposed to be run, where there's manure and chickens and all the animals just ruminate and they live off the land in a natural way. And it's a deep, rich, dark soil. And the other soil, which is pale, that's industrial soil. That's soil that's been used with industrial fertilizers, and the top soil's dead, and it's just garbage, which is most of what we eat.
See, the difference between you and I is you actually remember what the soil does and what. If somebody gave me
Sort of.
soil,
Yeah.
somebody gave me soil, and you said you got soil, I guess, yeah, somebody gave me dirt, and I wouldn't know the difference between the two.
You see, the dark dirt is the good dirt. That's the real dirt. That's how dirt's supposed to look out in the wild. That's what we're supposed to be eating food from. Mineral-rich soil, so you get healthy vegetables, healthy animals.
It's beautiful that you have that on display. And,
Yeah.
And again, you're coming and taking a tour of this place is inspiring. You make me want to spend money. Yeah.
You should spend money. You definitely should spend money. Because if you don't spend money, like, what's the point in having it?
I know. I wish I could get there, but you.
Come on, bro.
you
Look at that
definitely-
watch. You're balling. Look
Yeah,
at that
this
thing. What is that?
My wife gave me this.
That's
for
a beautiful
our-
watch.
thank
What
you.
is that?
It's a Cartier watch for our wedding.
That's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Look, let me see
Thank
that. Let me look at that. Okay. Ooh, that's a pretty watch.
It's,
That is a lovely watch.
Well, thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gave me this for our wedding gift.
Very nice.
But
Well,
yeah,
your wife's got taste. That's
Yeah, she
obviously.
does.
Look at you.
She got
You handsome bastard.
she got a lot more taste than I do. I tell you that right now.
I know. Yeah, I let my wife pick out almost everything. When I have nice sneakers on, it's generally my wife bought them.
Does your wife comment on your clothing?
She does, but she leaves me alone for the most part. But she'll dress me occasionally if I have to go out. But I'm a fucking teenager.
Yeah, well, yeah, like a T-shirt,
Yeah,
like a
I
jiu-jitsu T-shirt guy.
I wear T-shirts.
Yeah.
They're comfortable. I wear jeans. They're comfortable. You know, I don't really give a fuck.
I don't think I've ever seen you in a suit.
I wear suits.
Yeah?
Yeah. I have some nice suits. I have David August made me I have like a whole row in my office. I'm in my my house, my closet filled with suits. Yeah, I got a bunch of custom-made suits.
All right.
Because I can't wear regular suits. I don't fit in them, you know. There's not a lot of 200-pound, 5'8" dudes. It's just very odd-shaped
They don't make clothing
chimp
for
size suits. Short dudes are
Chimpanzee
really
collection.
wide. Yeah. But it's a nice fitted suit. It's a fucking wonderful thing to have because it just fits you perfect.
Yeah.
All the cuffs and everything. You feel different. You put it on. You know, we all the boys we did a show in Vegas. We did the MGM, the Grand Garden Arena, and we did me and Brian Simpson, Tony Hinchcliffe, and Hans Kim, and I got them all suits. I said, let's all get we're doing Vegas. Come on, let's do it Rat Pack style. So we got these beautiful David August suits, and Jamie got one too. It was incredible.
Nice.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
It's nice. You feel different when you show up with a suit on.
You do feel different. However,
Look at that. That's us.
Oh yeah.
Come on,
that's
son.
Nice. That's a nice
Sharp.
shot.
Sharp. Everybody's looking sharp. Look at Jamie with the shades. Come on. Got the full Pulp Fiction ponytail going on. Look at you.
Yeah,
Nice, right?
I feel though with a suit, right, and I've noticed this as I've gained some weight in the midsection. Wearing a suit is becoming extremely uncomfortable if you don't have like a very kind of tight body.
Right. If you get stuck around here, it binds you.
Tuck in the shirt, there's
and
the buttons are hanging out for dear life. So I'm fluctuating in my weight. Where the suits I got right now, I got to work into them.
Yeah, well, you and me are both Italian, and Italians, we just love our pasta. It's a real problem.
It's a problem, especially when after you hit 50, it just seems to not go away.
It doesn't go away. The only way to go away is to not eat pasta. That's the only way. It's the only way for me. Not eat pasta and booze. If I cut way back on the booze and no pasta, my body just goes and shrivels back to normal.
Yeah, I'm in the process of trying to get back in
It's
shape.
so hard to avoid that food. The food is just like, if it's in front of me, I just have a real problem.
Well, you like to eat meat. Do you find that the meat is helping your physique and
If I just eat meat, yeah, definitely. Yeah, because meat is very satisfying. Meat has what's called a high satiety rate, which means like when you eat it, you get satisfied when your body's had enough. But I always say this, like, if you gave me a steak, just a steak, 16-ounce steak, I eat it, I'm good. I don't need anything else. But if there's a bowl of pasta next to that steak, I'm eating the pasta too. If there's some bread and butter, I'm going to eat the bread and butter. Somebody rolls out dessert, of course I'll have dessert. Next thing you know, I've consumed, 1,500 extra calories that I didn't even really want or need. Mm-hmm. You just get addicted to just stuffing your face, just stuff. Oh, if I don't leave like this, like my stomach literally will distend out. Where I look at myself in the mirror, I'm disgusted. Like, what have you eaten? Look at all the mass you've put in your body. Because if you looked at, like, if you keep your stomach like right here, like this is my normal stomach. But if you add that much food, which is I'll consume that much food easy, it just goes right here.
Oh yeah.
Oh. And you just look at you like, you fat piece of shit. You lazy, slovenly, greedy fuck. Like, look what you've eaten.
You get any, you sweat at night when you sleep after you have meat? I'm drenched.
I have a thing called an 8 sleep mattress cover.
I have one.
They're fucking amazing.
Okay.
It's a game changer.
Okay, so do you crank that thing up to 10 after you eat a meal like that to cool off the body?
No, generally, if I'm sweating, it's because I'm having nightmares. I'll have some nightmares and I'll wake up drenched. Not in that thing though. That thing generally, I don't think I have woken up sweaty since I got it. It's
really?
I always used to wake up sweaty. I would wake up on wet sheets.
Oh yeah, no, I eat a ribeye. 2 o'clock in the morning, I get up and I'm like sweating.
Yeah,
and that never used to happen when I used to eat.
I don't remember what I have the 8 sleep thing dialed into, but I got it right there at the sweet spot. I've tried a little too cool, a little too warm, but now I got it like right there. I sleep like a baby.
Do you have it heat up in the morning?
I think it does. I think it's on some sort of a cycle. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember how I set it up, but there's a bunch of different options that you can do, and you can even have a different option for like you or your wife if she likes it warmer or cooler. It's nice.
No, it's been a game changer for me.
It does make a big difference. Yeah, totally. But taking care of your sleep I've really prioritized that, especially recently, because owning the club and being out late, and I was doing 2 shows a night, which is also a lot. It was too much. I was doing 6 hours of comedy a week, just doing 3 nights, just doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 2 shows a night. But it was just, I was too tired. I was burnt out, and I wasn't getting the proper sleep because I'd get home, show's over, like 12:30 or something like that. I get home, hanging out with the guys at the club. I'm getting home at like 1:30, and then I start writing. And so I write from 1:30 to like 4, and then I have to get up at 10 to work out. I'm like, this is too much. Like,
You're
I'm too
writing
tired.
material in the dead of night?
Yeah, that's when I write.
Wow.
Yeah. I almost always find that I'm most productive when everyone in my house is asleep. So I don't have to like, Dad, I don't have to think about anything. Did you do this? Did you put that away? Does this? Where's the thing? I don't have to deal with anything. The dog's asleep. Everybody's cool. I can just sit in front of that fucking computer and think, and that's the only time that I have like free reign of my house where there's no one awake. So I get my best. And also, I think you're jazzed up when you get off stage. And if you could just hold on to that, like your brain is already kind of in comedy mode. Your brain is already thinking.
Yeah, for me, I do a voice message. I record the set and I'll listen to it afterwards. But as far as like creating, I mean, I don't know. I feel like after 10 o'clock, the whole body shuts down. And I got 2 small kids, so maybe that's why they're up early. But yeah, I mean, 9:30, 10. And talk about the 2 shows. I mean, I used to do 2 shows with my eyes closed. And now it's like the second show. It's like, hey,
Are you taking vitamins?
I take supplements like multivitamin. I'm sure I don't have it dialed in.
You should get it dialed in. It'll make a big difference.
Much as it should be, but I just feel exhausted, Joe.
Yeah.
I am tired.
Yeah.
And I just constantly have to have sips of caffeine throughout the day to stay alive.
Ooh.
That's where I'm at. You look like you wake up ready to go. Right? I got this whole vision of what your day must look like. You must spring out of bed and go, give me it. Right? I don't even talk about not having a suit on. I don't think since I've known you, I've seen you yawn. I'm not kidding, bro. You constantly look awake. What is it?
It's health.
The water?
It's all the above. Supplements, definitely. That's a big factor. I take a lot of vitamins. I take athletic greens. That's one thing I take. But I take a whole suite of different vitamins. I take a bunch of different things like vitamin D, vitamin K2. I take things for eyesight. I take just fish oil. I take creatine. I take a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I took 3 or 4 vitamins once. Right? I swallowed it with some water. I coughed, and a puff of white smoke came out of my mouth.
Vitamin powder. Yeah.
I think the body's rejecting the vitamins.
It's got to be a slow process. You don't want to dive right into the amount of vitamins. The amount of vitamins I take is like half of this coffee cup.
Jeez.
Every day.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm taking a couple.
I have like a whole cabinet that's filled with supplements, and I pull them out.
So when you travel, what do you carry a suitcase of supplements?
I have a bag, and in my bag, most of the time when I travel, there's a company called Pure Encapsulations, and they make these packs, like Athletic Pure Pack. They're great for travel. It's very easy. You don't have to think about it. Just rip open the pack, take those vitamins, and you're good. So when I'm on the road, generally, you getting rid of Carl? Is he too rowdy? He's rowdy. He wants to bite me.
He's teething. biting it.
How cute is that dog?
He's cute. I just bought a dog. I just got a dog.
What'd you get?
Never a dog owner
Really?
in my life. This is the first time I've ever had a dog. It's a Labradoodle, and it's,
Those are great dogs.
It's extremely intelligent,
Yeah.
but I don't think it likes me.
What?
I don't know. He's looking at me like loves my wife, loves my kids.
Doesn't like you.
I don't know. It's not as excited to see me as maybe my wife and kids.
Really?
And just very perceptive on the.
Maybe he wants to be the man. Is he the man of the house?
Well, he's becoming the man.
Does he have balls?
Yeah.
Well, keep his balls.
Yeah.
Don't.
No. That's what one of I think the dog trainer said. Just keep them.
Yeah.
Keep his
Just
nuts intact.
the whole idea is you don't want unnecessary puppies. Right. I agree. Don't let your dog breed. But be with your fucking dog. But if you take your dog's balls off, now your dog doesn't have any testosterone anymore.
Yeah.
They develop hip problems and joint problems. They're tired all the time, just like a man. If you take his balls away, they become a eunuch. That's what you're doing to your dog.
Okay.
And it's just, I've seen people do it, and they're like, oh, I wish I didn't do it. Like Andrew Huberman said that. He started giving his dog testosterone because he gave his dog, he got his dog fixed, and then his dog was like listless all the time. And so he's like, he felt terrible. And they started doing the research on it and looking into it and like, oh, you need hormones. Dogs do just like people do. It's terrible for them.
Yeah, we'll keep his nuts intact.
I had a vet that told me that.
Yeah.
One vet, a great guy, and he was like, don't do it. Don't do it. Everybody says to do it. Like, you're not taking your dog somewhere and letting your dog breed with a bunch of different dogs and have puppies just that irresponsibly. So your dog has a nice yard. You're a good dog owner. You're with him all the time. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
As long as you're paying attention to him.
Yeah, just the whole idea is just to not. I mean, people are irresponsible. That's why I can't go to the dog pound. If I go to the dog pound, I will have 20 dogs.
Yeah.
My dog, my dog's perfect. He's awesome, but I love dogs. I would have. I would have as many. Yeah, I always had dogs. I would have as many dogs as I can. I love them. They're just pure love. And if you have a good relationship with your dogs, if your dogs love you and you love them, it's like every day I wake up and I say to my dog, "Good morning, sir." And he goes, "Woo!" He starts whimpering and whining and wagging his tail 50 miles an hour, and he goes around in circles, and we hug it out, and I kiss him, and I rub his belly. It's like we have a morning ritual. I love dogs, man.
Oh, it's nice. It's nice.
They change your life. They make your life filled with love. Cats are cool, but they're kind of aloof. They want to be pet, and then they go away, and they're cool. They just want to go outside and kill something. Your dog is like your friend. He wants to hang out with you. Like, I take him to work. He's like, "Are we going to work? This is crazy. We're going to work." Every day when I bring out the ball, I think he's going to be bored with the ball. I bring out the balls like today. He's like, enough with the ball. But nope, every day he's like, the fucking ball. He's got the ball. He's running around in circles, jumping up in the air, trying to steal the ball from me before I throw it. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's what I hear a lot of dog owners. Over
You're not
the
having that
years.
experience.
No, well, not yet. Not
How
yet.
old is
It's
he?
a puppy. He's like 3 months old.
Just spend time with him.
Yeah,
Hang out with him. Play with him a lot.
Joe, I'm playing. I'm just saying.
He's not interested
I
in
don't
you.
know if it's the cologne I got on, but
Probably smell horrible to him.
he's like, what the hell is
They
this?
probably smell like a chemical factory. Like, what the fuck does this dude smell like? Woo!
I feel. Do you wear cologne? I feel like you don't wear cologne. Do you
Wear cologne? What do you mean?
Do you wear cologne?
Wear cologne?
Yeah,
Oh, I
do-
thought you said work
No,
alone.
no.
No, I don't wear cologne. No, I barely wear. I only wear deodorant because I don't want to be offensive. Because I will get offensive. I'll smell terrible. But I wear natural deodorant with no aluminum in it and all that jazz.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
I don't.
You know?
I don't smell.
You don't smell at all?
No.
Are you sure? Can I smell you?
Go right ahead.
How could you not smell?
I don't have whatever it is that gives off any type of body odor.
Really?
I don't have it. I don't
Have you been told this by someone, or you just like deduced this on your own?
I've gotten sweaty many a times, and I've asked my wife, "Do I smell?" She goes, "No." So I don't emanate any odor while I'm sweating.
Interesting. Maybe your wife can't smell good.
No, I'm telling you, Joe. Believe me, I'm very keen on odors. All right, so if I smell anything, I make sure that that's taken care of.
Odors are interesting because your olfactory senses, they detect changes in smell. They don't detect static smells. That's why people that live in an area like with a slaughterhouse, they don't freak out. Like, my family used to live in Pennsylvania, and when I would drive from New York to go visit them, when I would drive through these areas where they have farms and slaughterhouses, fertilizer, it's fucking terrible smell in the whole town. Like, how can these people live here? They don't smell it. Oh, the no body odor gene. That's what you have. People have the ABCC11 non-functioning gene variant, have dry earwax, and little to no body odor.
Now, I've known this for some time, right? That I have no body odor. But it's nice to come on the show because there's always a reference put up. Like, I could have looked that up. I never looked it up, and here you come and you walk away knowing that you don't have the gene that emits odor.
Yeah, some sort of a gene expression. Interesting. I wonder what the benefits. We were talking about this yesterday. Like, people that didn't shower. There was people that went their whole life without bathing because bathing was considered a sin. It was sinful. You wanted to discourage people. Where was that about that we're reading? It was something religious, right? It was about like royalty and old-timey people. Well, but Saint Agnes, is that who it was that went his whole life without bathing at all? His whole life, no bathing. Imagine.
I couldn't imagine that.
Imagine what that guy smelled like. Imagine what his asshole smelled like. What the fuck, dude?
Have you gone recently in the last 10 years without taking a shower or cleaning yourself at least? Did you miss a day?
I've missed a day before.
Yeah.
Yeah. But generally, no, because I work out. So if I work out, I always shower. I always shower. And I'll cold plunge and sauna. So that's, you just drench in sweat. You feel like shit if you don't wash off a little.
No, I agree. I'm just, I think I might be showering too much.
How much do you shower?
Well, I normally get 2 showers in a day.
Really?
Sometimes 3. I feel like if I'm gonna go to dinner, say with my wife, I feel like I can't take the day shower and bleed it into the night. I feel like it's a reset.
Right.
You gotta get ready for the dinner.
Nice.
Yeah.
You want to look nice. You want to feel nice. Put that watch on.
Put the watch on and go out and have a nice bowl of pasta.
Yeah.
And sweat to death
Now
at
you're
2 o'clock in the
morning. Do you use the 8 sleep thing? Does it help you?
Well, again, I got this 8 sleep. It's supposed to monitor your sleep.
Right.
I got the Aura ring supposed to monitor.
Right.
You know what I need?
What?
I need accountability. I need to send the data to someone
And have someone change your lifestyle.
and have them analyze it and go, oh, you know what the problem is? You're waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and that's disrupting your sleep. But I got all this data. I got an Apple Watch. Oh, I burned 390 calories. Okay. What does that mean? There's no...
Right.
I have a lot of data. I don't have a lot of analysis. All right?
Did you have a trainer?
I have a trainer, yeah.
Maybe we should get a nutritionist. You got some bread. Get a nutritionist.
What,
Get someone we could show the data to, and they'll tell you what you're doing wrong.
All right. I need someone to hand over the data to then...
They have like companies that do stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get that done. Yeah, you should do that. Yeah, I bet the late night eating thing's a real problem. That one makes you feel terrible when you're sleeping.
What's late night eating? Okay, like some say, all right, you should have dinner at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and after that you don't eat if you go to bed around 9:30. What's a late night meal for you?
At 1 o'clock in the morning last night, I was cooking elk steaks. 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
And then you go then you're up till 4:30.
I was up till 3. Yeah.
I mean, as long as you're not going to sleep, I figure 2-3 hours. I think 2-3 hours is a good time to go to bed after a meal.
A couple hours. Yeah, but I've done it like where I eat and then go right to bed.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
That's terrible. That's what my wife.
Staying
We
awake.
have 8 o'clock at night. We're eating. Next thing you know, 8:41, we're in bed. And I'm like, is this healthy? So
You should go for a walk. Go for a walk around your neighborhood.
I just saw something online that walking.
I was going to share that.
Oh,
Who's that?
Huberman Lab.
Oh, yeah, there it is. That's from Andrew Huberman again. Brief post-meal walks and blood sugar regulation. So they explain the simple yet large positive effect that a brief post-meal walk, as simple as it may sound, the data is impressive, and it is impressive stuff. I forget exactly what the numbers were, but you should 30-35% the change in your blood sugar level just by taking a walk around the block after a meal. Pretty amazing.
with all this stuff that's out, right? All this information
Yes.
of how to live your life, and you took me to a tour. You got the tank, the sauna, the thing. I feel like at this age, at 50, all the stuff that you got to do to prepare for the day, by the time you're done with it, you got to go back to bed again, right? So by the time you work out, do the cold plunge, you're in the sauna, you're in the tank, and then it's time to go to bed. It's time to go back to bed with all the shit you got to do, right?
It's not that
It used
much
to be you just work out for an hour, you took a shower, and you went on with your day. Now I got to go submerge myself in water. I got to go sweat. Then I got to go float in the tank. But
The tank takes a lot of time, but the other things don't take. The float tank takes a lot of time, but the other things like cold plunge adds 3 minutes to my day. Sauna adds 20 minutes to my day. It's 25 extra minutes of my workout. That's it.
no, I wasn't looking for the time breakdown, Joe. I was just saying.
But it doesn't take the whole day.
But I'm just saying the amount of with the
Yeah.
then you got to eat the vitamins, the half
Right.
a cup, and then you know. But this is all said and done. It's time for dinner.
No, you get things done, man. You're exaggerating. I get you
don't-
doing that.
I don't-
It's the way you do humor. I
I
get
don't
it.
exaggerate.
It's plenty of time. There's plenty of time. You just don't waste your time. Like today, I wasted an hour just scrolling through Instagram. It's one of the rare days I just felt like indulging myself. I'm like, let's fucking see what's going on in the world. Bunch of nonsense. Some interesting things, but just a bunch of nonsense for a whole hour. Just wasted scrolling.
Yeah, I mean, there's mind-numbing things that you do to kind of like whatever carry yourself throughout the day. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, 20 years ago, nobody knew about any of this shit. About what you sweating and what that does. Now with the internet, you could throw up. You know, before the internet, if we were talking about walking, right, we would just go, "Oh yeah, no, walk is good for you." Next
Right.
thing you know, now we got a whole study up on the screen of how walking is beneficial to you and this, that, and the other thing. I'm just saying, with the amount of information out there, sometimes I feel a little bit overwhelmed going, how much do I got to do to get through the day?
Well, it depends on how you want to feel. If you want to have a lot of energy, like I do, you have to do a lot of things. And I firmly believe that's the reason why I'm so productive. And I think if I didn't do the cold plunge and the sauna and the workouts and the vitamins and the eating healthy, I'd be a completely different human being.
I know. That's why
I wouldn't have the energy.
No, I get it. I'm just, it's just that there's a lot you got to do.
Yeah, there's a lot you got to do.
Like I see people on the internet sweating. So I'm like, okay, do I got to start sweating? Is the steam room that I got at home, is that not enough? Do a couple eucalyptus sprays, breathe in, sweat a little bit,
Right.
and then I come out, right?
That's
but
not
now,
bad.
Okay, but now do I need an infrared sauna? Because now I got to get the sweat that's inside that's not coming out with the steam.
No.
What's happening, Joe?
The infrared sauna is probably very good for you, but there's not a lot of data on it like there is with the traditional dry sauna. A traditional dry sauna, there's a lot of very beneficial data. And the thing about the difference between steam and sauna is you can't really get steam hot enough because you'll cook because it's just too crazy. You know, you can't get a 190 degrees steam shower. You'd literally go in there and scald your skin.
Yeah.
But you can get a 190 degree dry sauna and you go in there and you really fucking sweat.
Yeah.
And that's when your body develops all those heat shock proteins because your body's reacting to it overheating. So it has to do something to sort of mitigate that effect. And that effect of mitigating it is what's so beneficial for your life. I mean, there's a study out of Finland. They did a 20-year study that found that using the sauna 4 times a week for 20 minutes at a time, and I think it was 175 degrees, lowers your all-cause mortality by 40%. That means strokes, heart attack, cancer, everything. Lowers it by 40%. And this is a long-term study of many, many people.
So the 190 degrees is a lot more beneficial than the steam. A steam at 120, is that doing anything?
It's
or
doing
am I
something.
wasting
Yeah,
my
it's all
time?
good. A hot bath is good. Everything is good. Getting your body to heat up is good because it gets your body to react, and it's the same thing. It develops those heat shock proteins. A really hot bath is very good for you. If you can get in a nice hot, especially if you get some Epsom salts in there, you get that magnesium, get a really hot bath, very, very good for you.
You know what I started doing? Talking about magnesium. and I don't know if you've ever done this, but I'm doing. I got a little spray bottle of magnesium. I
Okay.
spray it on my feet at night, and I put socks on. You ever heard of that move?
No. Why do you do that?
Saw it online. Like, hey, let me try this. I'm a guy. I'll tell you right now, this is what I do. I don't
Okay.
do research.
None?
None. I see that. I go, oh, this guy's spraying the magnesium on his feet, putting socks on. I'm going to try that tonight.
That's it.
That's it.
No Google search?
No Google search, no nothing.
Okay.
It could be killing me for all I know.
I don't think it is.
But I'm doing magnesium feet sock sleeps.
Does it seem to have a change in the way you feel?
Again, haven't done it consistently enough to even find out if this is helping me.
Right.
So I'm a guy that does like things kind of on the whim, and there's really no consistency with it, right?
Let's look into it for you, because the magnesium foot spray, I'm interested. Like, what is the deal behind that?
There's definitely multiple products being sold as magnesium oil for your feet. I didn't see anything necessarily saying you need to keep socks on too.
I throw the socks on just because
So you don't want to oil
I
up
don't
your
want
sheets.
magnesium all over
I'm
the
trying to
bed.
find like
Yeah,
a solid
that's a good move.
source of.
No, that's what I'm doing. I mean, like my wife is even looking at me, going, "Jesus Christ,
Right,
this is where
spray
we're at
his
now."
feet.
I'm at the edge of the bed, spraying my feet. I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Really? Magnesium on your feet? Is this where the relationship is?" So, what the fuck? So I don't know if you could. The internet probably don't even have this information. I saw it like on a random. I think it was an Instagram video.
Well, I would imagine it get absorbs through your skin just like the float tank does. The float tank is a great source of magnesium because there's 1,000 pounds of Epsom salts in the water, and your skin absorbs it. So I would imagine your skin's absorbing that stuff you're spraying on your feet.
Yeah, it just doesn't absorb it as well as like an oral supplement. That's all.
Okay.
That's about all it says, really.
Yeah, so not good absorption, but it works a little bit.
Okay.
A little something.
It can help with cramps or some sort of nerve functions.
Magnesium helps people sleep, though, right? It's a good one for sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I notice sometimes when I get those IV and there's magnesium in there, I feel exhausted.
Relaxed.
The IV, again, this is another thing people do.
Right.
Right? Oh, you got to get a bag of whatever the hell's in the thing.
Right.
I don't even ask. I just give me the bag, whatever,
Right.
whatever, and then I get it, right? Don't feel any different.
No?
I don't.
You
Nothing.
will if you're sick. Yeah, if
Well,
you're,
what
I
I-
tell everybody, if you are down, if you're feeling shit and you're run down, get an IV vitamin drip. It's a game changer, especially with high dose of zinc and vitamin C. You get an IV vitamin bag and you will feel way better. Bill Burr was sick as a dog when I saw him last. I was like, "How long have you been sick for?" He's like, 2 weeks. I can't shake this cold. I go, "Please listen to me. I just do this. Get a vitamin IV." And he texted me the other day. He's like, "Dr. Rogan." He goes, "It fixed me." He was like, I'm going to do that from now on. I'm like, from now on, anytime you're sick, if you feel like shit, get a high dose vitamin C, zinc, B12, the whole deal in a bag. You'll feel much, much better because it gives your body the tools it needs to fight off whatever the fuck is trying to get you.
Yeah, Joe. Listen, I've done the bag, all right,
Right?
while ill.
It hasn't helped?
Well, it's helped, but not like where I came out of it. Like, this is what I'm thinking. If I take the bag and I got a cough, after I take the bag,
The cough should go away.
I don't want the cough anymore.
Right.
And if the
Takes a
cough
little
is still
time.
there, I feel like, all right. Yeah.
Have you ever done NAD?
No.
NAD is rough. How do you say it again? Nucleotide, adenine, what is it again? Nicotinamide,
Yeah.
adenine dinucleotides. Oh, yeah.
What is it?
So NAD is a supplement that you can take that actually helps your telomeres lengthen, which is a sign of healthy bodies and young people. Found in all living cells, NAD is called dinucleotide because it consists of two nucleotides joined through their phosphorus groups. So you take that in an IV bag, and generally most people do it over a long period of time. You do it over like 2 hours. So you just watch a movie because it's very uncomfortable.
What, to get it?
Yeah, the NAD is very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable for your stomach. It makes you like cramp
Oh,
up.
okay.
You're like, whoa. If you do it quick, it's a intense feeling that most people don't enjoy.
What's the benefit? What does it do?
There's a lot of benefits. There's a benefit for your immune system. There's a benefit cognitively. You feel much better. You come out of it when your body's replenished with that stuff. You just feel fantastic.
Okay.
Feel really good.
That's something else I got to do.
But that's one that needs some time, unless you can go hardcore and just like deal with the uncomfortable
I
feeling.
don't do anything hardcore, Joe.
Nothing?
Nothing in my life is hardcore.
Interesting. Interesting. Do you have an aversion to hardcore things, or is this how it all panned out?
It's just all panned out. Hardcore for me is hardcore is comedy. That's what I do.
Okay.
Hardcore.
Yeah,
is
one thing.
One thing. Is
One thing where you're all in on.
all in on comedy. But other than that, outside, I wish I was more interested and dove into things a little bit more deeper than I have. Everything with me is a little bit on the surface.
Do you really wish that? Because I feel like if you did wish that, you would just do it. Right?
Yeah. I just wish I had I don't know what it is inside me that would, make me want to learn more about, like, I like cooking, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't dive so into it where I'm coming up with recipes and doing this and that and the other thing.
Right.
Let's look at a YouTube video, make the fish, and then here's the fish. But I don't take it to another level. I don't go get the beautiful knife or the pots and pans and all the stuff that goes along with cooking.
Right.
My interest level is surface. Rarely does it go underneath the surface.
You know what I really got into out here is cooking over wood. Like live, like actual hardwood, not just lump charcoal, like getting wood and using an offset smoker and slowly searing the steaks or slowly like cooking the steaks rather, and then searing them at the end over the coals. I take the coals and I put the coals from the hardwood underneath a grill and then sear the shit out of it.
Okay, I hear that. I hear that.
Yeah.
And my brain is going to explode. It's
Too much?
That's
too much.
That's too much.
Well, we're all different, Sebastian.
I know we're all different, but do you know the kind of wood?
Yes.
That it
Live oak. You want oak generally. Live oak, or you want if you want to grill hotter. You like a lot of guys like mesquite. I like mesquite and oak. Those are my two favorite. But I'll try cherry. I'll try some different woods. Some places you can go to get hardwood just because there's so much barbecue out here.
Yeah.
There's companies that'll just deliver cords of wood to your house.
Okay, speaking of wood, right? I got a pizza oven. My goal is to make pizza. It's not as easy as people might think to make pizza from scratch, the dough and the whole thing. Right?
It's very hard.
So I've tried multiple times, and I'm a guy that I'll try it again and hope for a different result, but I'll do the same thing I did before. Right. Just hoping magically, it's gonna come out. My pizza don't even look like pizza. It looks like the shapes are unrecognizable. All right. I can't even get a circle on the damn thing to work. I work it out. It's not pliable enough. So when I put it in there, half of the cheese flies off into the stove, and I bring it out. It's a mess.
Why don't you get pre-made dough? You can get.
I tried the pre-made dough, Joe. I do, and for whatever the reason, I cannot get a circle with the thing. I try this.
I bet if you went to like a real Italian pizzeria, they would show you how to do it.
Again,
if you went there,
Joe, listen. You teach me something, I come home, I forget half of the shit I learned. I don't have any retention or comprehension on anything.
Has this always been the case?
It's always been the case.
But not with comedy.
That's why
it's interesting. The one thing that you're successful at, like super successful at, you've like focused entirely on that.
I got no more focus.
Oh.
The focus I have is for comedy. After that, the focus wanes because I feel like I just don't have,
That's probably a good way to live. Yeah, just be casual most of your life and be intense about one thing. That sounds like a good balance. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Well, I would like to learn more things as even when you got kids now. You could teach your kids how to do the archery. You got the whole archery thing, hunting. You know how to hunt, right? I'm trying to figure out what am I passing on to my kids as far as skill sets is concerned. Yeah, I
probably talking shit.
Huh?
Talking shit. They're probably good at talking shit. My kids are real good at talking shit. They say some funny things, man. It's fun. We have a fun house. It's like a lot of fun shit talking.
Yeah, that's always good.
Then they make fun of me too, which is fun. Like there's no, I could never make fun of my parents. There was none of that growing up. They would fucking yell at you.
Oh, no, we had that relationship with my parents.
Yeah, you can't be Italian parents.
No, we did.
Oh, you had a relationship joking around.
Yeah, just goofing around.
Okay. My parents were not like that.
No, they didn't.
There was not a lot of joking around. No, so I love joking around, and so they're making fun of me all the time. Like it's hilarious.
Your daughters?
Yeah, they're funny. They're fun. They talk shit, and they know that I like it. They know that I laugh, so everyone's like, we have a good time. But they talk shit to each other. They talk shit to their friends. It's like talking shit is fun. It's like it's a fun activity. It's one of my favorite things about a green room at a comedy club is that everybody's talking shit. You go back there, everybody's busting balls, cracking on people, guys and girls. Everyone's laughing. We're all just like shitting on each other.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. It's such a beautiful environment. Like a green room of a comedy club where you're around a bunch of good people and everyone's laughing and we're all jazzed up because we're about to do shows. And that's what I wanted. I wish you were in last night. I wanted to take you to the club.
Yeah, no, I wish I would have came to the club.
It's so much fun, man. It's such a great spot.
But here's my thing with that, man.
Okay.
Here's my
It's a thing.
here's my take on the green room.
Okay.
I generally tend to retreat and just listen to everything that's going on when comedians get together. I'm never the guy like center of attention or contributing to the fun. I've always been the guy that just kind of comes in quiet and listen,
right?
Because I don't know a lot of the comedians intimately enough to have that like comfortable. So if I walk into a room like here, I just did the show with Seinfeld, Nate Bargatze, and Jim Gaffigan, and we all backstage. I tend to be the one who's I listen and I chime in every now and again.
Right.
I don't have to be the guy that comes in and kind of like pisses on the room.
That's actually good. That's a good trait. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, when you're around those guys, like, hey, what a great time to sit back and listen. You got Seinfeld, Nate Bargatze, and Jim Gaffigan in a room together. Look at that.
Yeah. So we had a great time, but
when did that's crazy.
When did what?
I was gonna say, like, look at you. You look like an Arab. It doesn't even look like you. When did you turn into a guy from Palestine?
I don't know.
What is that photo? What did someone do?
Two weeks
someone
ago.
put a filter on you.
What?
That does not look like you. Am I right, Jamie?
I just dark.
No.
He's
Dark.
tan.
The guy, he came off a yacht. There's no other way. Like the squirrel, he looks like a guy in the Mediterranean that shows you how to get octopus.
What's that? I got Mediterranean blood.
I know, but you don't even look like you. Like in that photo, you look handsome. Don't get me wrong, you look great, but you don't look like you.
No, you know what it is. Everybody else is white. Yeah. They got, and that's what it
super
is.
White.
When you're next to Jim
Right.
Gaffigan, right?
Right.
Of course, you're going to look like you.
That's
you're,
the filter.
You're delivering fish.
There's a balance there, Nick.
He looks like a normal color in that, which is wrong. Yeah, look how dark you are. Well, that at least looks like you. That other photo did not look like you.
All right, maybe it was the lighting, Joe, but that's me. I was there.
I believe you. I 100% believe you. I'm just saying that. Like, go to that last photo, Jamie. I'm not lying, right? Go to that last photo. Get the fuck out of here. That ain't you. That's some dude that works for the Saudi Arabian government. And he came over here to make some sort of a deal to try to get comedy to come over to the Middle East. I know a lot of guys who do comedy in the Middle East, and they give you like a list of shit you can't talk about.
I did it in 2008. I went with a bunch of comedians.
That scares me. A list of shit you can't talk about? Like, what if I slip up?
Yeah.
What if there's a moment in the crowd where someone yells something out, and I think it would be funny to say something, and whoopsies.
Yeah, there's a lot of editing.
Now you're in jail. Yeah. Who had a problem with that? Who was it? Someone actually went to one of those Middle East countries and did a gig and almost got arrested. It was Eddie Ift. Yeah, he the only thing that saved him, I believe the story was, I believe it's Eddie. I think the only thing that saved him is some of the royal family thought he was hilarious. They didn't have a problem with what he said at all. I think he called someone sir when you're not supposed to call him sir. You're supposed to call him your highness or your excellency. And he was referring to people in the audience and talking to them and calling them sir. And then they were trying to arrest him afterwards.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yo. Like, sir's not
That's
good
not
enough?
that's not even like, I thought it was something.
No,
maybe
wasn't even anything.
sexual
That's why I'm nervous. Like, that's not even anything crazy. That's nothing.
But your brand of humor, did you take that and did you ever do corporates and that wasn't your style?
No. Everybody that I've ever known that's done a corporate, after they do them, they go, why did I do that? Ron White just did one. He goes, this is the worst fucking experience of my life. But they offered me a shitload of money, and I said yes. I kept saying no, but they kept coming up with higher numbers. And eventually I said yes, and it was fucking terrible. And Tony Hinchcliffe just did one. He said it was fucking terrible. They're always terrible. You like them?
Joe, I got to be honest with you.
You like them?
I don't mind a corporate.
Really?
I really don't mind a corporate. Yeah, you've had those awful corporate gigs where, but
what percentage of what? I just ran into Sandler. He told me he ate dick at a corporate gig.
Yeah, I mean,
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, they're not.
They paid to see Adam Sandler. They knew Adam Sandler was going to be there, and it still sucked.
It's the environment sometimes. It's like
Right.
you're walking into whatever. They just had their breakout meeting and then they're coming and it's comedy.
Right.
But it's just a different vibe.
Well, they're all scamming about their careers. They're all networking.
Yeah.
And fucking making their little backstabby moves.
But you call them out on that. You kind of
Right.
like do material about what they're going through during the 3-day sales meeting at the Venetian.
Right.
So you kind of relate to. I actually I don't mind them as much as other comedians. Oh, like corporate. This I actually don't mind the.
Jay Leno loves them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where he's made the majority of his money. Jay Leno, all those fucking cars he has, never spent a dime of his Tonight Show money.
I know.
Never spent a dime. Puts it all in the bank.
It's amazing.
All that money, all those cars, it's all him doing gigs.
Well, here, you didn't grow up with money, right? No. So now you're super successful. You got this money. Was there someone that taught you how to manage money or how to look at money in a way where you're like, okay, I have a good grasp on this? Yeah, I mean, a money manager, what have you. But I'm just talking your relationship with money. Is it like, yeah, we're here, live it up, spend it? Or is it more like, do you ever think this is not going to be the most popular podcast ever? Or do you even think that way?
I don't think that way. I never thought it would be popular in the first place. When I first started doing it, there was just me and Brian Redband in my fucking living room. And then comedians. Joey Diaz come over. Eddie Bravo comes over. Ari comes over. We're just having fun. Just talking shit. I never imagined. I didn't plan for it. Like when everybody has those vision boards, like this is how you become successful. You have to manifest it. I didn't manifest this at all. Zero. The most successful thing I've ever done by a long shot. And I've put zero management into it. All I've done is just keep doing what I enjoy doing, and it turns out other people enjoy it too. That's it. It's just talk to people like yourself, talk to funny people, talk to interesting people, talk to people I agree with, talk to people I disagree with. Have civil conversations with people where you disagree with things. It's good for you too. All I do is just do what I enjoy doing. If I could do this for free, I would still do it.
Okay.
I enjoy it.
So you do this podcast.
Yeah.
You have no aspirations of this
Zero.
being the hugest thing ever, right?
I don't even have any aspirations for growth. I don't say, when by this time next year, I'd like to have. Nope.
No, you just focus on
what I'm doing. Yeah.
Output.
I feel like everything else is a distraction. Like as long as you're making enough money. Brian Count said something to me once, and I never forgot it. He said, and we were kids. We were in our 20s. He said, the only amount of money you need is so that you can go to a restaurant and not care what things cost. Everything else is bullshit. If you got enough money, we can go to a restaurant and you don't worry. Just order a bottle of wine, order meat, order whatever you want to eat. You don't have to think about the price. He goes, that's real freedom. Because everything else, like all that other shit, you forget. That's all just, it becomes complicated. You don't need that. Real freedom is the freedom to not worry about your bills. That's the real, I experienced that leap, that jump when I got a development deal. So I was like, I guess I was 25, 26 maybe, 25. And I got this development deal from Disney. And it was like $150,000. And I couldn't believe it. I had $150,000. This is nuts. And I felt like a physical weight lift over my shoulders. Because back then I was a road comic. You know, you do a gig on Thursday, it's $200. You do a gig here, it's $150. You know, you're scraping together enough money so that you could pay your bills and eat. And you were always worried about gigs, always trying to fill my book, always trying to call booking agents, drive to Connecticut, drive to Jersey. Where do I got to go to make some money? And it was all just trying to stay alive and trying to make it, right? Trying to become didn't really think I was a legit professional comedian. It could all go away. And so I got that development deal, and it was the nuttiest feeling in the world. It was like I felt lighter. Like I felt lighter. And then I was like, oh, that's the key. Like, get the monkey off your back. Get the bill monkey off your back. And that's the real freedom. The real freedom is not being rich. You don't feel any different being really rich other than the stuff that you can do. But the way you feel in the day is the same way you feel if your bills are paid. That's what you want. All that other shit is like, the other thing I noticed when I moved to California, it was the first time I had a nice apartment. And I'll never forget this either. I was sitting in my apartment, and it was a beautiful place in North Hollywood. It had a loft, I had a pool table in my apartment. I was like, this is amazing. How is this real? How is this mine? After a while, it just became my house. And then I realized, like, oh, this is the same feeling I have when I'm home that I had in my shitty apartment in New York. It's the same feeling. Yeah. It's like, oh, this is home. It's the same feeling. It's not better. It's not worth the amount of money that it costs if you're like renting a house that's way over your budget and you're doing Uber just to try to pay your bills. It's not worth that. It's what's worth it is if it's comfortable. If you have a TV and you have a nice bed and you can cook your meals, you're good. That's what you need. That's all you need. Everything else is just like the amount of effort that you have to put in to make the amount of money to get all these other things leaves you in this constant state of anxiety. And I think people just get lost in this idea of constantly making more and getting more and chasing more. And I just concentrate on what I do. That's all I concentrate on. I concentrate on work. I concentrate on comedy. I concentrate on UFC fights. I concentrate on podcasts. And I don't think about those other things. I don't think about the direction of my career at all.
No, that's a great way to look at things, because the only thing you really have control of is
what you do.
What you do.
What you put out. Yeah.
So you being a pioneer in the podcast world, right? You and Mark Maron, I feel like we're kind of...
Adam Curry was the first. Adam Curry was the original. The MTV VJ. He's still got a podcast now. He's excellent. He's a good friend of mine, and he's the number one guy. He's the Podfather.
Okay, he's the Podfather.
He named it. They started it off together. Yeah, they started doing it years before I ever did it. And Mark had his a little bit before mine. Adam Carolla was the first, because Adam did it off of radio. So Adam had that radio gig where he took over Howard Stern's slots when Howard Stern went over to Sirius. Remember that? So he had this morning show, and that morning show was doing real well until... do you remember they used to have a talk radio station in L.A.? Before podcast, there was like Tom Likas was on it, and there was a bunch of good shows.
Yeah.
And that also made me think about doing podcasts too. I mean, I didn't know that a podcast was ever going to be a thing, but I was like, this is a talk radio station now. Like, talk radio got so big, mostly because of Howard, I think, but there was a whole station where you could listen to this station. It was all talk radio all day long.
There was a science guy on there late night. I forgot what the hell his name was. But yeah, you're right. There was like a station that had all these kind of cool talk formats. And what I'm saying is, for me, I'm not so versed on the history of podcasting, but for me, I just remember you as being one of the first guys.
Yeah, we were one of
this.
the first.
Okay, so now you're here. When you look at the landscape of podcasting from when you started to where it is now, do you go, wow, this is amazing that all these people are doing it? Could anybody do this? It feels like everybody has a podcast. I feel like there's a specific skill set to podcasting. Do you look at what you did early on and what you're doing now and go, wow, look at the growth?
It's definitely a lot better. Yeah, I'm definitely better at talking to people. Yeah, it's a skill. You learn it. It makes you a better conversationalist in the real world, for sure. It makes you more considerate.
It's like comedy, right? I mean, it's like you weren't the podcaster you were How long have you been doing
right,
this?
Right. This podcast is like 15 years.
15 years.
Somewhere around there, closing in on 15 years.
Yeah, so it took 15 years to get it to. I mean,
Yeah.
well, obviously you've been successful for longer than.
But yeah, it took a long ass time.
Took a long ass time, and I think nowadays it's just there's an amount of time you got to put into something in order for it to be a gem.
Yes.
Right? But even just the entertainment landscape as I look at it, has entertainment changed? Where now we're looking at the phone and we're looking at somebody do something crazy at their house. There's a guy I've been watching, this insane, his name is, he's catching eggs in his mouth, right? Do you see this guy? Insane, insane, I forget the name of his, Insane Shane. This guy
Catches eggs from how far away?
50 yards, they're throwing eggs in this guy's mouth. He's got the best mouth on the internet, right?
Does he break the eggs or does he catch them and not have
No,
them
they're like
break?
hard boiled or a meatball.
Oh,
This guy's chucking meatballs
and he's catching them in his mouth?
50 yards.
That's a skill.
So I'm watching it, and I can't. Yeah, this is this guy.
Okay, the marshmallow combine. He's not catching all of them.
No, he's catching them.
Oh,
and
he's catching them and then spitting them out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's insane.
One of these guys threw it 50. Who throws a marshmallow 50 yards?
Yeah,
too?
I think they're like they're like ex football players or the guys that are throwing. The guy's doing routes, catching marshmallows in his mouth.
This is crazy. People who try to block him. That's crazy. And he's catching the marshmallows. That's amazing.
Okay, so
That's a skill.
so I'm watching this now. All right, this is
Okay.
entertainment now.
Okay, he's got 1 million followers.
Yeah.
Insane Shane 1.
Yeah.
SHAY.
He's diving off speedboats, catching them in his mouth. I mean, look at this guy.
Who would have ever thought that would be a thing? Oh, he dives into a.
Well, no,
yeah, go ahead, yeah.
this is a real. Oh well, this
He's
is
catching
a real football.
footballs.
So, has entertainment in your eyes changed? Where it's changing, where this is now what people are watching instead of maybe a movie or a TV show.
Well, it's definitely consuming a lot of your time. I mean, if you look at your screen time, like if you look at my screen time on my phone, on an average day, it'll be more than 4 hours. And how much of that is doom scrolling? A lot. So that's entertainment. So would I have been watching television during that time? No, probably not, because you could take your entertainment with you now, which is even more distracting.
Yeah, but you're not watching. You said you did an hour of Instagram.
Yeah.
You're not watching like a movie or a documentary.
Sometimes I am. Yeah.
I mean, I
I spend a lot of time doing that too.
but I do that in certain places. Like I'll watch a documentary on an airplane, or I'll watch something at home.
Right.
But I generally don't take my phone and I'm walking around the house watching documentaries, right? Just because
Right, you'd
it's-
sit down.
You would sit down and enjoy
Yeah.
that. But this is something that I would probably, if I was on my phone from the kitchen to the bedroom, I'm
Right.
watching a guy catch
Yeah.
marshmallows in his mouth. My question to you is,
Okay.
if the internet or social media wasn't around, do you think that guy would be around? Do you
No,
think this?
he wouldn't be doing that.
But do you think this was existing 30 years ago, where somebody was chucking marshmallows and catching them just for fun?
Yeah.
And we didn't see it.
There's probably a guy in the neighborhood that could do it, and everybody would come over and watch Bob catch marshmallows with his face. Yeah, I'm sure. But it just never would have been the discipline that it is now, where this guy's got like fucking guys blocking him, and he's juking left and right and catching marshmallows in the air with his mouth. I mean, it's pretty impressive stuff.
So do you think the social media and internet spawns this type of stuff?
100%.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. It is a new form. That's another thing you could say about podcasting, too, because before podcasting, no one thought that the time when you're driving or the time when you're at the gym is time that you could be entertained by something other than music, right? Most of the time, unless you're listening to talk radio, of course. But now the podcast thing is like you could pause it at any time, you could start at any time. So if it's an interesting podcast and you got a 2-hour road trip, now you're occupied. Now the road trip's easy because now you're driving, but now you're listening to some funny fucking shit, and Joey Diaz is telling stories, and it's great. I mean, so this area of entertainment wasn't available. It wasn't being utilized before. And so what podcasts are really good for is it allows you to be entertained and occupied while you're doing other shit. I don't think most people who consume podcasts just sit there and listen or sit there and watch. I think a lot of times, like maybe you're cooking, and while you're cooking, you got your earbuds in, you're listening to a podcast, or while you're driving, or while you're on the fucking treadmill and you're bored. You get to listen to some interesting shit. And I get a lot of messages from my friends that will tell me, oh, I was at the gym and I was listening to Shane. It was hilarious. You guys were killing me. Like that kind of stuff is, or, hey, there's this guy with that power plant, Egyptian pyramid guy. You believe that? What do you think about that? I was in the gym. It was kind of freaking me out. So it gives you like this opportunity for entertainment that didn't exist before. It's not completely useless, right? Like the scrolling for stuff and the guy catching marshmallows in his mouth, I'm not getting anything out of that. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's kind of useless. But podcasts are not. And, you know, you do get to sit in on interesting conversations. You get to consider ideas that maybe you never considered before. So it wasn't available before. And because of phones and because everybody it's so easy to get a podcast, everybody has access to them.
Do you listen to podcasts?
Yeah, all the time.
Are you going to them for comedy or more informational podcasts? What's your forte?
I listen to a lot of different podcasts. I listen to podcasts that are comedy podcasts. I listen to history podcasts. I listen to podcasts about science. I listen to podcasts about, you know, pretty much everything. Hunting podcasts, you know, which are very valuable. Because hunting is, it seems easy. Like the idea seems easy to people. It's not. It's really hard. And there's a lot of things that people learn along the way in their journey of hunting, and they'll explain it to you. And so that if you encounter that, I'll say, oh, Remy Warren said, when you do this, be careful of that. Now that's in my head. You know, so it's just like, it's a way that you can accumulate information.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I listen to this Huberman.
Yeah, he's great.
And half of the stuff goes over my head. You know, like
he's hard. He's hard. You got to make, even when I do podcasts with him, I have to make notes. I make notes, then I ask him afterwards, and, you know, but he's very fact-based, and he's a great guy, too.
I have to ask you this, talking about Huberman, and you've interviewed him. Do you ever have somebody come on the show where you're nervous to have them? Like, oh, man, this is...
oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, who are you nervous to interview?
Roger Penrose, the Nobel Prize winner. He's just a brilliant mind, and older, you know. So I'm like, how is this conversation going to go? How do I engage him? I don't want him to feel like he's wasting his time here. So I want to be prepared, have good questions, and I don't know how much experience those guys have on podcasts or how much of an experience they have at all with comedians. You know, I don't want to fuck around too much. I just want to just get the most out of him that I can get. Like, I just want to try to like massage his wheels and ask the right questions and be curious about all the right things and be informed enough to know what the right questions are.
Yeah. And
what I'm actually, and also I'm very fascinated by his research. So it's like having an opportunity to talk to such a brilliant person. You know, like he's done a lot of research in the Big Bang. He's got a very interesting thought about the Big Bang, that he doesn't think the Big Bang was the beginning of the universe. And that's something that a lot of physicists are considering now. It's very fascinating stuff. The idea that the universe is eternal or much older than we think it is.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, you got to be a chameleon, man. You got so many people, different people coming in here, right? From comedy to, you know, doctors to what have you, and you got to like adjust.
You do have to adjust, yeah,
to every different personality. It's just an art form.
But it makes you more flexible as a person too. Like you can have conversations with all kinds of people.
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. I mean,
it's better. I like it. It's a lot better than the way I used to think before I started the podcast. You know, in 2009, I was very closed-minded. I just was doing it just for fun. I mean, I was open-minded generally, but not like I am now. I wasn't aware of why I thought what I thought and what my biases are and why I think of things in certain ways instead of like considering them from like a broader perspective. But when you do a podcast, you're kind of forced to do that because there's a lot of times when, even if I agree with someone about something, I have to take the position of someone who's skeptical and ask them a question like, but what about this?
Yeah.
So instead of just confirming them and us existing in an echo chamber, I'll try to offer consideration like, okay, but why? Someone could think of it this way. Do you think of it this way ever? Have you ever tried to think of it this way? And just like see, you know, how their brain works. Mm-hmm. Because everybody's brain is, they're different. You have children, and one of the things you find out when you have children is, bro, right out of the box, they're different people. They are different people. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Because you meet a kid and he's 4, you're like, look at that smart kid. What an interesting kid. But you didn't get to see that kid with his brother and his sister and all of them coming out of the same woman and going, this is all from the same father. Like, this is nuts. They're totally different things.
Yeah.
They have different personalities, different likes, different strengths. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy to see. I mean, my daughter and my son, the differences between them. And you don't really notice it or don't really pay attention to it until you have kids of your own and you actually see it going, wow, this one's outgoing, this one's shy.
Yes.
This one likes piano, this one likes t-ball. So it's like, and even me and my sister, you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, sister.
I mean, my sister and I, although very similar, also very different. And it's really crazy as a parent to, and also you want to, you want to give them structure. You want to give them kind of the best things you grew up with from your parents, and then put those, give them to your kids as well. But you also want to see them flourish in their own personality. So, the parenting thing is, I take it extremely serious. Like, I want to be there for my kids. I want to, I don't want to work so much where, like even coming to Austin, Texas for podcasts or going to Dallas for a show. It's like,
you have to think about that.
Yeah, it never used to think. I would be like, book it, just get it, just book it. And now it's more like, hey, are we coming to this run? Are you guys going to come to New York?
Right,
bring my family. So
that helps a lot.
Yeah.
That helps me a lot. If I could take my family with me. I take them with me a lot of times on Vegas UFC trips too. It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice, especially now that the kids are getting older, that they could travel more.
Also, Vegas is a fun place to do stuff. There's other stuff we could do before the fights. Stuff like, I don't know if you ever done escape rooms. You ever do escape rooms? No? Escape rooms are fun. They're fun.
I'm claustrophobic. And this just happened to me recently.
Don't get in that tank then. Don't get in that sensory deprivation
tank. I don't know
tank.
if I could do that. It happened to me on an airplane.
Oh, no.
Sitting at the window seat. It just overcame me. I gotta get out of here. And ever since then, like I have to have an aisle seat if I go to a theater and watch a show. I can't be confined. Even
this came out of nowhere?
Out of nowhere. On an airplane.
Wow.
And I had to go in the back for 2 hours and hang out with the flight attendants and stand the rest of the time.
Wow.
So
did you tell them what was going on?
Yeah, I said, listen,
I'm freaking
just
out.
So you know, I'm crawling out of my skin. I'm sitting next to 2 people. I feel like I'm trapped. I can't get out. So I'm very anxious now if I get on an airplane. And here's one.
Okay.
Get on an airplane. I hate to do this, but there's a family, and the father's like, do you mind changing seats so my daughter could sit next to me? I said, well, where's the seat? And he's like, it's the window seat. And I go, I can't go over there because I'm claustrophobic. And of course he was looking at me like I was making it up, because I would have.
Right.
I mean, if somebody told me that, I go, this fucking asshole won't let me sit with my daughter.
Right.
But it's so bad where I can't sit at the window.
Well, he could always ask somebody else. He could just ask someone else.
Yeah, but
you were by yourself.
I feel like I let him down.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Yeah.
I'm never that guy. I'm always very cooperative, whatever we need.
I'll always move seats.
Yeah.
I'm always worried about other people freaking out. Like, there was a video that just went viral recently of some guy saying he was going to take the plane down. This guy stood up in the middle. You see that guy, Jamie?
I've seen a few. I don't know.
There's a few lately. That's what I always worry about. I worry about someone freaking out. I worry about another person that you're going to have to deal with.
I feel, though, if somebody's freaking out.
I think he stabbed people. Didn't he stab someone? He had like a little knife on him and he stabbed a couple of people. Yeah, he was saying that he was going to take everybody out. Like, oh, God.
I feel if you're on an airplane and that's happening, you would be one of these guys that would handle it, right?
Yeah, the problem with handling it is you're probably going to get sued. and you might even get arrested. And depends on how much damage you do. You know, you could permanently damage someone. People are very flippant about beating people up, but you could easily permanently damage someone.
No, I believe me. I believe you can. I'm just saying you have that. I think that instinct. What's the problem? Where I have more of an instinct of, is there a Joe Rogan on the plane?
I was on a plane once, and a lady asked me if I would help her because these two guys were fighting. One guy got in first, and he put his briefcase above this other guy's seat, and then he sat down. And then the guy who was right behind him goes, no, that's my spot. That's my seat. That spot over here. He goes, no, it's not. It's first come, first serve. Put it somewhere else. It was open. I put it in there. And he goes, no, that belongs to my seat. And then they started getting like belligerent with each other. It started getting like to the point where like, oh my God, are these kids going to fight in first class? And so then this fucking lady who is the flight attendant, she came in and told them both she was going to have them removed from the plane, sit down and shut up. And then she came to me and she goes, if anything goes down, you're going to help me, right? I was like, what do you want me to do? Because if I'm going to help you, it's going to get real messy. Are you going to say that you said it was okay for me to do that to that guy? Like, I'm not going to play nice. If you're on a plane and you've got to take someone out, you have a very short amount of movement. It's got to be very violent. You got to debilitate them. You got to like take them apart right there. You can't like hope that you can hold on to them and then they relax. Then what? You go back to your seat. They're not gonna. You got to put them out.
Yeah.
You got to risk. You got to risk.
As you're talking to me, I feel like you're going through a bunch of different moves of what you could possibly do.
It's got to be violent. If you got a guy like that with a knife, you're not grabbing that guy. You're not just grabbing that guy and bringing him to the ground and holding him down. You're gonna beat his fucking brains in. You're gonna stop his body from moving, because otherwise it's dangerous. Like you're in a position where you're being forced to use violence against some irrational, possibly schizophrenic. Who knows what the fuck's going on with this guy? And he could kill everybody. Pastor stabs fellow traveler with weapon of pens and rubber bands on Seattle to Vegas flight.
Okay, so what's going on?
He fashioned a handmade weapon before launching an unprovoked attack against a man seated across the aisle. Yeah.
Flying used to be...
Look at his pen. So he made a weapon out of his pens. He tied all his pens together and held on to them. Wow. He said, I planned on attacking and killing him, the defendant stated. Jesus Christ. Defendant felt the mafia had been chasing him the last few months. Yeah, so there you go. So he's schizophrenic, and, they don't have fucking scans for that when they bring him in. Oh, during the interview, the defendant admitted to the FBI agents that he was trying to stab CR in the eye to reach CR's brain to kill him. Okay.
And said he was protecting his 7-year-old son, so that's awesome.
The victim's wife was also hurt in the attack as she was shielding the couple's 7-year-old son. Jesus Christ, man. So this guy just decided that this guy was in the mafia, that was coming after him, and he snaps and he wants to kill him.
What's going on airplanes? Why is there all this violence now on airplanes?
First of all, there's a lack of respect for authority that came with the whole defund the police thing. So there's like people are more belligerent towards authority. So you have that. And then you have the general heightened level of anxiety of the population post-COVID went up substantially. COVID fucked a lot of people's lives up. We got lucky. We were very fortunate. We make money. We were able to make money during the pandemic. We had enough money to be okay. A lot of people, that's not the case. So many people lost their businesses. So many people lost their livelihoods. So many people have a deep distrust for the government and the world now. And then there's this thing where people are being coddled for being mentally ill, where you're almost like having a mental illness is something you can talk about. It makes you interesting. So I think people encourage mental illness. They encourage breakdowns, and they do it all the time in the real world, and so they think they could do it on fucking planes. And then you got genuinely mentally ill people who are just out of their fucking minds, who really shouldn't be out there in the world. And, they think the mafia's after them, and they're making a fucking handmade shank while they're sitting in 16A. The whole thing's nuts. And it's just like, I think people are just much more on edge right now than they've ever been before. And I think a lot of it is a function of mainstream media. You're being fed every day the worst shit that's happening in the world. Gaza, Ukraine, the fucking ocean's boiling. Oh my God, what is happening? Putin's doing this, and Xi Jinping is in control of that, and the fucking border's open. Fentanyl. It's just like everyone's on edge. So you get all those people, you stick them in a fucking tube. And then you fly them through the air where there's no one there's no authority figure on that plane. There's these women, these poor women or men or whoever they are, that's flight attendants, that have to fucking deal with these people. And most of them are just regular people. They're not, they do have those guys that hide undercover that are on planes occasionally. What do they call those guys?
Marshals?
Yeah. What do they call them?
Air marshals.
Air marshals.
I think they stopped doing that.
They stopped doing that? Oh, great. Of course they did.
All the security, right? To go to the airport, all the security to get on the plane. Once you're on the plane, no security. Like they got security guy walking around Whole Foods making sure you don't steal an apple.
Right.
Yet you're 35,000 feet up, and what?
Right.
The flight attendant's gonna subdue a guy with pens?
Right. Exactly. And who's going to get hurt along the way? What if he did stab that guy in the eye? Mm-hmm. Like, Jesus Christ. Even Mike Tyson got in a fucking fight on a plane. Some guy kept fucking with him. He turned around and beat the shit out of the guy. And now Mike's getting sued.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. That guy should go to... They should ship that guy somewhere where it's terrible. You got to live here now.
What's your take on this Tyson thing?
I go back and forth. I don't generally like the idea of 58-year-old men fighting. It seems crazy risky at this point in your life. You're definitely going to be slower. You're definitely going to be, your reflex is going to be slower. You can't take shots as much. But I don't think that a 50-year-old man today or a 58-year-old man today is the same thing as what we thought of as a 58-year-old man when we were kids because of hormone replacement. So because of nutrition, hormone replacement, science of recovery, and they've got Mike Tyson doing everything. He's doing all kinds of things. He's not a regular 57-year-old guy. And then you see him hit the pads, and you go, Jesus Christ, man. This is a terrifying human being. He's still fucking terrifying. Hitting the bag, hitting the pads. He still has the ability to deliver those punches. And if any one of those hits anybody, they're fucked. You're fucked. It's not like his punches are, 30% of what they used to be. They're like 80 to 90% of what they used to be.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that range. It's probably a little slower than he used to be. He used to be insanely fast. There's a video of Tyson hitting the bag as a 19-year-old, and he's throwing these combinations like, and he's 210 pounds, 215 pounds, throwing combinations like Sugar Ray Leonard. Like, it's insane to watch. No. He was so fast, and that was a big factor in his success. He does not have that kind of speed anymore, but he's still fast. He's not slow.
But Joe, we're watching a 58-year-old man.
Crazy.
Right? Now, if you 30, 40 years ago looked at I was watching the We Are the World documentary, and I'm looking at the people. Kenny Rogers is in that. And I'm going, I'm probably 60 years old here, right? And I look, he's 47. 47 years old in the We Are the World. So the aging process has, there was no way 58 years.
Yeah.
This guy's 47.
That's crazy.
Younger than I am.
That's crazy. He looks
like
he's 10 years younger than me in that video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the 58-year-old man now.
Look at young-ass Billy Joel. Tina Turner. Willie Nelson looked young. Damn.
How old's Willie Nelson there? I know.
He's 100 in this video.
No. How old do you think he is?
90 now.
I know how old he is.
He's
I looked
in his
him up.
90s.
52 years old in that video.
Is he really?
Yeah. It's amazing.
Wow.
So you're right. 58 years old is
very different.
Different. What was Foreman when he came back?
45 when he won the title. He was
45.
33. I think he was 33 or 36 when he was coming back, and everybody was mocking him. And then he beat Michael Moore when he was 45 years old. He's the oldest man to ever win the heavyweight title, and that was before hormone
Yeah,
replacement.
that's what I'm saying.
Stuff.
I think Tyson is a 45-year-old Foreman. No.
Yeah, it's similar. I mean, Foreman wasn't as fast even back then as Tyson is now. Tyson's still faster, but he's smaller too. George is a very big man. George has enormous. He has hands that are like the size. His fists are like the size of a cigar box. Jeez. They're fucking giant fists, which is a big factor in punching power. You know, this was George at 45 years old, and Michael Moore, who was a sensational light heavyweight, was kind of undersized as a heavyweight. Mm-hmm. As a light heavyweight, he was a fucking assassin, but George caught him with a 1-2 and put him out. At 45 years, in a fight he was losing.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Moore was outboxing him.
But even at 45, you don't look
Look
like
at that. Boom.
You don't look like no Tyson at 58, though.
No,
I mean, right?
No, he was much slower. But George was always kind of slow. Mm-hmm. He just has thunderous power. He was never like a real fast guy like Ali or any of those other guys. He was just thunderous, ridiculous power. George was just terrifying.
And I don't know the ins and outs of boxing. But is this Logan Paul? Is he a legitimate boxer?
A legitimate boxer, yes. People mocked me when I was saying that before, but now I think people are coming around. And the way I look at it, I say if this kid was not a YouTuber, if he wasn't some guy that you knew from the time he was like 16 years old on YouTube, and you just saw him box, and you saw him knock out former UFC champions, you saw him beat legitimate boxers, or beat athletes and beat a bunch of MMA fighters, you'd go, this kid can fucking fight. He knows how to fight. Like, it's not, nothing he's doing looks wrong. He's not like sticking his head straight up in the air and winging punches with his eyes closed. He's fighting well. He looks good. And if he was just an up-and-coming boxer that was this exciting, like highly promotable, like really good at selling fights, you'd be like, this kid's the future. Mm-hmm. He's really something special. And the fact that he's willing to fight Tyson, even if Tyson's 57, just the fact that he's willing to actually take a chance at Mike Tyson not being able to do what he used to do. Because that's what he's doing. The gamble is, like, there's not a fucking chance in hell that Jake Paul would survive against the Mike Tyson that beat Marvis Frazier. You ever watch that fight?
Yeah.
That's my favorite Mike Tyson fight because that was Mike Tyson before he won the title. It was ABC Wide World of Sports, and Joe Frazier had been talking shit about Tyson, that if he was in his prime, he'd beat Tyson. And so he had his son fight Tyson, and it was an execution. It was an execution.
Is that the one in Atlantic City where it lasted one round?
One round. Hey, let's watch it because it's one of my favorite fights to watch Tyson because it's Tyson in his prime where he was fucking terrifying. He was so fast and he would do angles and he was bobbing and weaving. You couldn't hit him and he was just coming at you. And he was young. He was 20 years old at the time. He couldn't be stopped. No one had the solution. And I submit that Mike Tyson, the Mike Tyson that won the title against Trevor Berbick, the Mike Tyson that beat Larry Holmes, I think that Mike Tyson is the best heavyweight of all time. I don't think anybody fucks with him. He didn't maintain that form, and he wound up losing to Buster Douglas. And, you know, I look at fighters when they're in their absolute prime, like what have you ever seen that was better than this? And with Mike Tyson, I've never seen anybody better. I've never seen any fighter, even Ali in his prime, even Ali when he was Cassius Clay. I never saw anybody who looked like Mike Tyson in his prime. I think you can't maintain the kind of focus that was required to be this guy. Marvis looks fucking terrified, and he should be. Because he kind of knows. Marvis was a good fighter. Marvis was a good fighter, but this is just a terrifying mismatch. Like if I was a Vegas odds maker, I would put this at 1,000,000 to 1. I'm like, he has to break his leg, like he has to fall down and twist an ankle, like otherwise so Tyson was 20 and Frazier was 25.
So do you think this is the last we see of a guy like a Tyson? Is there another Tyson out there, or is it?
They can always emerge. Combat sports always. So this is the beginning of the fight. Look, he's just moving forward, and Frazier's just trying to just bob and weave and find his openings. But Mike never gives you any time, man. He never gives you any time. He's always right in front of you. And he's just measuring you. And it's just a matter of time before he catches you. And here it is. Bing! Look at this.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Bro, he just puts him away. Just puts him away. It's an execution. It was just a matter of Mike Tyson closing the distance. This Mike Tyson, as fast as he was, as hard as he hits, I maintain he's the greatest.
Yeah.
The greatest heavyweight ever. Like that Mike Tyson, those fights were, you wanted to see executions. You didn't think anybody was going to beat him. Everybody he fought looked like they were about to die when they were in that ring.
I don't think we see this again, Joe.
You never know. It can happen.
Jake Paul's favored.
He's a favorite. Yeah. Well, he's 27 years old, and he's a really good boxer. He's a very good boxer. Like, he's a legitimate professional boxer. He fought Tommy Fury, who's also a legitimate professional boxer, a real good one. He's Tyson Fury's younger brother, and he lost a close decision. But it was a good fight, a real good fight against a good fighter. He can fight.
Yeah.
But if that Mike Tyson from Marvis Frazier fought Jake Paul's dead. He's dead. He's not going to make it. So you have to say, how much has Mike Tyson lost from that 20-year-old guy in the 37 years since then, which is crazy. It'll be 38 by the time they fight. He'll have turned 58 by the time they actually fight.
Yeah, but that's the best it gets, right?
The best it gets.
The best it gets. After 37 years, you got to feel like he's lost some, but
he hasn't lost everything. He hasn't lost everything.
Yeah.
If you see him hit those pads,
absolutely,
he has not lost everything.
But he's lost some. But coming from the best, he's now like maybe just normal, right?
He's still not normal, but he's still like a professional heavyweight boxer. He's still terrifying.
No, I'm not saying he's not, but I'm just saying even coming off the best, I still think he wins. Coming off,
it's hard to say because you never bet against a 27-year-old fighting a 58-year-old.
What I have in my brain and I can't get out is that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's also his mind. You know, like Mike Tyson's mind has switched over into war. Like he was doing this interview, and someone said to him, he goes, "You look like you're in your 20s. Like, what are you doing?" He goes, "I just eat raw meat." He's like, "I'm eating raw meat." He goes, "You're eating raw meat?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm eating raw meat." He goes, "Because that's what I'm gonna eat when I fight. I'm gonna eat him. It's raw meat."
Yeah, see,
I was like, Jesus Christ, he's in this fucking mode. He's in that God of War mode, and that he's still got that in him. And I'm telling you, if you keep giving that guy hormones and you keep giving that guy supplements and he's constantly training, hear this. Look at this.
What are you eating? Raw meat. Seriously, Mike, you're eating raw meat? Are you swallowing it, or remember you used to spit that stuff out?
I'm gonna have to eat it now because my opponent's gonna be raw meat.
That's right. Do you look like 20 years old?
Now, I saw the beginning of this interview where he had a shirt on, right?
Yeah.
And he was sweating so much he had to take the.
He took his shirt off, and they just put the microphone on his shoulder. Yeah, bro, he's in savage mode right now. He's in savage mode. If I was Jake Paul right now, I would be shitting my pants.
Oh, bro! If I'm fighting this guy and and I see he's eating raw meat, I call the fucking thing off.
It's all the experiences that he has had as a conqueror. You have to take those into consideration. When a man has smashed men before, just smashed men, like when no one can stand in front of him, that is in his mind still. That's in there. There's a dark chamber in his mind that he can open up.
Yeah.
And I think he's got it open. The question is, can his body move along with it? But that part of his mind, like you're clearly seeing, he's terrifying when he's in the zone. I changed the shape of the table because of him. This table was, we had the table that was this size at the old studio, and at the new studio, I was like, maybe we'll make the table smaller. It'll be more intimate. It'll be closer to the guests. So we had Mike Tyson in when he was 300 pounds. And he was just eating and having fun and smoking weed. He goes, I don't even work out. He goes, if I work out, it'll excite myself. It'll excite my ego. And then I don't like that person. So he just decided that he was just going to be chill Mike Tyson. And then he got this offer to fight Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah.
So he gets in insane shape. And the next time I see him, the second podcast we do, Mike now weighs 230 pounds, and he's got these muscles in his forearms. So he's sitting there, and he's a different human. He's so intense that I was like, if this table was closer to him, I would be nervous. Like I wouldn't be able to do my best job as a podcaster. I literally, the reason why this table is this width is the second podcast I did with Mike Tyson. Even Jamie, when Mike left, Jamie's like, that's a different person. That's a totally different person, right?
I was nervous the whole time. I was so glad I was close to the door. Hoping he went for you
he was
first.
so intense. He was so intense. And that was a fight with Roy Jones Jr., where he just decided, to have one more Legends fight. And he got, look at him. Dude, he's just...
What the hell? What do you
means
mean?
you're getting excited.
Raw meat.
Like, seriously, Mike.
Oh, you got both things playing at the same time. Hold on a second. You had animosity towards, so when you finally get your hands on them.
Hey, what does it mean when fighting gets you erect? What does that mean?
It's a good question.
Gee.
It means you're getting excited.
Yeah.
So that's going through your mind right now.
Well, that's how I get when I was a kid, and sometimes I get the twinkle.
The twinkle.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like you reached a state as a human being, as a champion, as a ferocious fighter. You reached a state of ability and of accomplishment that very few humans will.
I don't know if you can hear him breathing.
He's
right there,
breathing.
Yeah.
It's like a lion.
Listen, running. When you're hitting the bag, when that heart's beating again, and 'Cause I'm firing who him you up right are, now. You're Mike motherfucking Tyson. So when you're doing all this shit again, you're still Mike Tyson. Those thoughts have got to be burning inside you again. It's got to be pretty wild.
I don't know. It's wild, but I believe it's rightfully so to be that way, and I just know how to. I don't think I mastered it, but I just know how to deal with it. I don't let it overwhelm me.
No. Well, of course not. It's a strange conversation to have because he was like so focused and so intense. It was almost hard pulling conversation out of him.
At any time, did you feel afraid?
I'm always afraid when I'm around that guy. Kevin Hart said it best. He goes, "It's like being in a room with a lion." Like even if the lion is like...
Jamie Foxx's old joke is like someone let a pit bull let loose in the room and they don't know whose it is.
And then Jamie's got to play him in a movie, which has got to be terrifying. Like, don't piss that guy off. I never talk like that. Oh, sorry, sir. I'm curious. I'm gonna watch the fight. We're all gonna watch the fight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it. I mean, it's a brilliant move by Jake, because like if he was gonna fight anybody else, people would watch, but would the same amount of people watch? No. This is the one. And this is the one where the old heads are all sitting around like going, well, fucking wait till he gets a hold of Mike Tyson. Boy, he's going to regret that. And all the old guys are like pulling for him like, come on, Mike. Come on. One more. You got one more in you.
Well, I think we see a different Mike Tyson than we did when he fought Roy Jones, right?
I think the Roy Jones fight, they made an agreement not to punch in the head. I'm pretty sure. Because I watched that fight carefully many times. And it never looked like he was targeting Roy's head, which makes sense why Roy agreed to do the fight. Mm-hmm. I think they probably made an agreement. It would be like a real boxing match, but just don't knock me out. Because Roy's a smaller person, much smaller.
Yeah.
Roy was at his very best when he was 168 pounds. And then when he was weighing 175 pounds, he didn't even have to cut weight. He was playing. Roy famously played a basketball game, a full basketball game, the day of his fight.
Wow.
Played a basketball game, and then went and boxed the face off of somebody for 12 rounds.
Wow.
That's how good Roy was in his prime. But Roy was 168 pounds in his prime. He wasn't Mike Tyson's size. Mike Tyson's fucking enormous. He's just a different mass. He's the width, the density. It's terrifying. And if they're older guys, I could imagine them making an agreement. Because if you watch the highlights, Mike never punches him in the face. And even if they do punch each other in the face, it seems like it's just like jabs and small punches. It does, like almost like sparring shots. It's not like anybody's like really like winding up, but really like throwing everything at it.
This fight doesn't have that stipulation?
No, I do not believe that's the case. I think this fight is going to be a real full-bore, 100% fight. It's not even an exhibition. It counts on their professional record, so it's a professional fight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Is it 8 rounds?
think it's 8 2-minute rounds, but yeah, they changed
Yeah,
it to,
they made it 2-minute rounds because Tyson's old, and they were going to do 16-ounce gloves, but they're down to 14, I believe. Is that the case? I think they're 14-ounce gloves, which is not much bigger than a regular glove. You know, regular glove is 10 ounces in the heavyweight division, 6 ounces in lighter divisions. I think they use 8 in some divisions too. But most, like, big guys use 10-ounce gloves.
Yeah, it's again, talk about the change of entertainment, even in the boxing world.
Mm-hmm.
We interviewed Dana White on our podcast, and he's got, I'm sure you're aware of the slapping thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, is that just, if I slapped you right now,
Right.
is that different than taking a punch?
Not at all. No, it's terrible for you. Yeah, they're basically agreeing to brain damage. They're agreeing to let each other get slapped in the head. Because you have to get slapped. You have to stand there and get slapped. And the only thing that can save you is if your slap is so good and you win the coin toss or whatever the fuck they do to decide who slaps who first.
Yeah.
You slap that guy unconscious and then it's over. And it happens. Guys get slapped unconscious. I mean, you're literally taking a full-on blow to the face. Your hand can hit pretty hard. If you just think of that.
Yeah.
Try doing that with your knuckles. That's hard to do. It hurts.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt at all when you do that. You can slam. So you could really fucking slap someone. You know, guys have knocked guys out slapping them many times. It's not hard to knock. You could KO someone. Bas Rutten was one of the all-time greats in MMA, and he started his fighting in an organization called Pancrase. And Pancrase in Japan, this was the early days, but like as the UFC was just emerging, they started doing fights with no gloves on, but they said instead of punching, you could only slap. So what Bas Rutten, he's got very flexible wrists, so he would pull his hands way back like this, and he was basically just punching you with the palm of his hands. So he wasn't throwing them like you would think like a bitch slap.
Yeah.
He was throwing punches with his palms. He was uppercutting guys and knocking them unconscious with his palms. So that is what you're agreeing to when you're standing in front of a guy and you're letting a guy whop you in the head. You're agreeing to getting, you could easily get KO'd, easily get your jaw broken, easily get your eye socket shattered.
Are these
This is Boss. So look how see how he dropped that guy with that palm strike? With the way he throws it, it's like a punch. Boss was a fucking animal. He was an animal, like terrifying human being. Great guy, but man, in his prime, he was just destroying people. He was one of the first high-level strikers that made his way into mixed martial arts, and he eventually became the UFC heavyweight champion.
Was he? What was he?
He's a
jiu-jitsu
kickboxer from Holland, the motherland
of kickboxing.
Oh yeah, some of the all-time greats came out of Holland. Yeah, it's for whatever strange reason, it was like it was a background of Kyokushin, and a lot of them got into kickboxing and Muay Thai. And there was a guy named Ramon Dekkers, who's like to this day one of the most legendary Muay Thai fighters of all time. This dude who came out of Holland and went over to Thailand and just fucked everybody up. You ever heard of Ramon Dekkers?
No.
Show Ramon Dekkers highlight reel. He was like a mini kickboxing Mike Tyson. Yeah. This dude was a monster. Because a lot of the guys that went over to Thailand, they were bigger than the Thais. But Ramon Dekkers was the same size as the Thais, but he was just fucking ferocious. Look at this motherfucker. Bro, he kicked guys so hard that he shattered his ankle so many times that he had to get it fused.
Jesus.
And his doctor was like, you have to stop fighting or, you're going to lose your foot. And he was like, yeah, whatever. Just fucking bolt this thing down so I can get back at it again. I mean, his highlight reel is just fucking terrifying. It's just him mauling people.
But these kicks, right? I mean, doesn't it hurt the kicker as much as it does?
No, not as much, but it definitely hurts. I mean, especially if you hit the instep on like an elbow or something like that. Yeah. But shins are pretty good at tolerating pain.
Joe, come on. I mean, I hit my shin on my bed frame. I'm down.
Yeah.
That's just.
Well, you get conditioned. You get conditioned to the point where you can You can bang your shin against things. It doesn't even hurt.
Don't these guys train on trees?
Yeah, they train on banana trees.
Come on,
They
man.
kick, in Thailand, they kick banana trees. But banana trees are pretty soft. You can kick a banana tree. And they give out. They give a little bit when you hit them. It's not like a regular tree.
I've never seen a banana tree. Have you been around?
I've been around a banana
of
tree in
course you have.
Thailand. I kicked one just to see what it was like because I've seen a lot of videos of these guys kicking them. Yeah, it's not the worst thing to kick. It gives a little bit. So there it
Look
is.
at this.
See? Because it gives.
Oh, yeah.
See how it gives when he's kicking it? It's flexible. Like you could actually train on a banana tree. It's not a bad thing to train on.
Let's get that right in half.
Yeah, see, it moves. It's really not that much different than a heavy bag. It just looks crazy because you're like, oh my God, he's kicking a tree.
Yeah.
But there's heavy bag. Like we have a heavy bag out there in the gym that's my friend Kevin Ross gave it to me, and it's filled with sand. And that's just to condition your shins. That one's horrible. That one you kick, it's like, oh.
What are they normally?
Usually it's cushioning, like there's foam, and then it depends on what the stuffing is. Sometimes they stuff it with rags and cloth and stuff like that. And the whole idea is it's really packed down tight and it's heavy, so it's like 130, 150 pounds. And it's long, and you could do leg kicks on it. But the sand one is just hard as a rock. It's just thud. And you do that just to condition your shins. That's the one you practice on just to condition yourself.
Yeah, I wish I could do some of this stuff with I've always wanted to get into a fighting just for self-defense, right? But I have detached my biceps, so I have holes in my my arm. I have no bicep. Well, I have a bicep, but just not the short one is gone.
How did it detach?
Woke up and no bicep.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Nothing happened?
There's no trauma that I could pinpoint that this happened. Now, I have kids. I was putting them in the car. Maybe
you
it came
felt
from
something?
No, I didn't feel nothing.
Really?
Looking in the mirror one day, and brought my wife over. I go, is there a hole in my arm? It's nuts. Now, I'll show you.
Let me see. Oh, wow. I've seen guys have that before. My friend Matt Serra has that. He has like his bicep, when he makes a bicep, like half of it is missing.
Okay.
It's like it curled up on one side.
Matt Serra's a fighter.
Yeah.
I'm a comedian, and I got a hole in my arm.
That is
Why?
odd. But you have most of your bicep.
Yeah, but that's and on this side too.
Same side? That one. Did you go to a doctor?
Yeah, he says nothing you can do about it.
But he said it's detached,
It's gone.
and you don't know why.
Don't know why.
Weird.
Both. So then I'm thinking, do I got some weird Mediterranean type disease where like
Shit starts detaching?
people from my dad's got it,
Really?
but he put a luggage in the overhead compartment. That's what his snapped. His bigger bicep is living in his elbow now.
Oh, Jesus.
And
You can get that fixed if you do it right away.
right away. I didn't catch it right away. So
Well, it seems like with you there was no trauma,
No.
which doesn't even make any sense.
no sense.
Everybody that I know that's done that, like it's usually boxing or jiu-jitsu or lifting weights or something like that, it's painful as fuck instantly. There's a video of a guy doing curls, and as he's doing curls, his bicep snaps and curls up, and you see like, ah!
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's horrible.
And I've heard the same thing. It's painful, but
Right.
I have no pain, no nothing.
Well, it doesn't seem like it affects your range of motion either.
No, there's no.
So
there-
you could do
there-
everything.
there's no problem. But now I'm thinking, can I even work out the bicep? Because I'm afraid that one's going to snap.
No, you should, because if you don't, the bicep is not going to be strong enough to do the extra work that's required, missing that other one. Yeah, definitely. You're fine. You're fine. Yeah, you could do everything. You just got to get strong. Let's just strengthen all the surrounding tissue. You're fine.
What's the odds of a guy who doesn't really do any strenuous, no tennis, no nothing like that,
nothing.
to lose both of his biceps, right, by 50,
Right.
and now I got it in my head that
Everything's going to fall apart.
everything's gonna snap.
Yeah, but you haven't lost your biceps. Your biceps are there.
Yeah.
It's like whatever that other thing is that attaches, that's not there anymore. But I don't think you need that. I think you're fine. I wouldn't worry about it. Legitimately, I wouldn't worry about it.
All right.
I would just start working out. I would just like get really into like strengthening everything around it.
That's what I.
Especially since you can't fix it.
Can't fix it.
But Matt does everything. I mean, Matt is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and his biceps way worse than yours. His is pulled all the way up to the top. So like at the bottom, like when you make a muscle like this part, he doesn't have this part.
Yeah.
It's just flat.
Yeah, it's my dad.
And there's like a little bit up here. I've seen a bunch of people who have that.
Okay.
That's a common thing. Yeah.
I'm just shocked that it happened so early in life. That
It doesn't make sense that it didn't hurt at all. That seems weird.
strange.
But you seem like you have full range of motion. If you just keep
I'm
everything
golfing.
strong.
I'm active.
Don't worry about
But I used to love biceps. I'm Italian.
They're
so,
still
like,
there.
Listen, alone in a mirror with the shirt off.
You don't like it?
No.
Looks weird?
Used to love doing
Oh,
biceps
you used to love
like
to
that.
stare at yourself?
Yeah, doing biceps. That was my favorite exercise.
That's
Get the
funny.
thing and oh yeah.
I literally never do that. I never do biceps. Ever.
Well, growing up, that's what we always used to do.
Right.
20s, 30s, 40s. We were doing it at buys.
Right.
And
Curls for the girls.
Curls for the girls, man.
Right.
And now I got holes in my arm.
I don't think it'll affect you. I bet you could still do bicep curls no problem at all. I bet your biceps will grow. I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it's a problem.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. I don't understand it. It seems weird. And maybe I feel like it happened when you were way younger. You just didn't notice it. Maybe as you got older, your body changed.
No.
Nothing?
No, it's such a dramatic aesthetic. I mean, aesthetically, you would have.
So you just noticed it one day.
One day doing my hair,
Weird.
dropped my arms, looked in the mirror. I said, I thought it was a shadow from the thing. I go, oh, that must be a shadow. But no, it's a
hole.
It's a hole. And I didn't catch it in time, and now I'm walking around with no biceps.
That's so strange. But you do have biceps.
Well, yeah.
Missing one of those things.
One of the
I don't
one
think
of the
it's a big
biceps.
deal.
Okay.
You didn't need it, obviously. You weren't using it.
Yeah.
Fell apart.
It's
Gave
like
up.
It's like an appendicitis.
Yeah,
You
it's
get
like
rid
this
of it
guy
and
isn't even fucking
still
interested
walk
in this
around.
muscle. It just quit on you. Do you have a trainer?
Yeah.
So how often do you work out?
I do about 3 or 4 days with the trainer, and then I do 2 days Pilates,
Oh, nice.
which has helped my sciatica. So I started 3 months ago. I have had sciatica 2.5 years, affecting everything, including my comedy, because I'm physical. I like to move, but the pain was relentless. And I'm like, I didn't want to get the surgery.
Was it a discectomy that they're trying to get you to do?
It was spinal. I don't know what exactly, because I don't listen and I don't know anything as far as like the research.
Right.
The guy told me what it was. I'm like, okay,
Okay.
one ear out the other.
Right.
But stenosis of the spine, that's what was happening and whatnot. So, and something L3, L4, L4.
You know what you need to get that'll help you a lot? A lot. There's a thing called the Dex. It's one of those teeter products where you hook your legs to this thing and you lean your body forward. You know those ones you hang by your ankles? Those are good. Those are really good. They're great for a lot of reasons, but this one is my favorite for low back decompression. This thing right here. We have one out there. I'll show it to you. It's called the Dex, DEX2. It's an inversion and core training system. But the thing that it does the best is when your legs are supported, you know, you could do like back extensions and stuff on it, but I really don't use it for that. Mostly what I use it for is just decompressing. So I get on it and all your weight is now on your thighs, and all the weight of your upper body from your hips down is just decompressing. And you feel it pop, like I'll lie in it and it goes pop, 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 pop.
Oh, yeah?
Like I'll feel it decompress. It's amazing. I love it.
All right.
And it also, you can do back extensions when you're on that same incline, and it's really good for strengthening those muscles. And also sometimes that helps me loosen them up even more. I'll do a set of back extensions on it, and then I'll really like deeply relax and let it pop. And
All right.
yeah, decompression of the back and spine is very important.
Very.
That's why yoga is so good, because you're stretching and decompressing things. And if you're tight and then everything's tight, as you get older, like you just keep shrinking. You know, that's what happens to old people. They're the space in between their spine goes away, and then they get this hunch, and then they're immobile.
Yeah.
You don't want to be immobile.
No. And I felt like this Legree Pilates have definitely changed my life.
Pilates is amazing. They're very, very good for that. Yoga, very, very, very good for that. Anything where you're using your whole body like that, you know? And for a lot of people, there's a lot of contributing factors that lead to sciatica. There's tightness of the hamstrings. There's tightness of the upper quads that also affects your lower back and compresses everything. Like when I have back pain, one of the things that I do is I sit on my heels and I lean all the way back. So with my legs bent, and it really stretches out my upper legs, my thighs, my quads. And when I do that, I feel it in my lower back. Like I feel my lower back relaxing.
Yeah.
Like I feel it stretching out. And then I'll do a bunch of other different exercises like that. But that's what keeps me from having back pain.
Yeah, the importance of stretching, I've found,
It's huge.
Huge.
It's huge. And everybody's lazy. Nobody wants to stretch. Even me. Even when I get done with a workout, I'm like, I could stretch. I should stretch. But I want to go eat. And sometimes I'll just go eat. Yeah. But most of the time I stretch. And when I do, I always feel way better. Like before a big show, I always stretch. Always.
In the back?
Yeah. I just lay down on the floor and start stretching. And when I do that, it's like everything just feels better.
Yeah.
Because the physical tension that you carry in your body, if you can mitigate some of that, you feel looser. You get out there, you feel loose.
It's just age really crept up on me.
Oh, it's a motherfucker.
Really crept up on me.
It's a motherfucker.
So I'm doing all I can to kind of combat that.
How old are you now?
50.
When you see guys that are 50 that don't take care of themselves, though, you see the difference? Mm-hmm. That's scary.
Yeah.
That's scary when a guy's never taking care of himself and then he's 50. And you realize, okay, you're in a state of total. I could pull your arm apart. I could just grab your arm and pull it away from your shoulder socket. There's nothing keeping that thing in there. Like you're made out of Jello.
Yeah.
Your body doesn't have any need to be strong because it never gets used. So your body just deteriorates into this like sunken lump. And now you're in pain all the time. And now you got problems all the time. Now you don't even have fucking energy to do things that you want to do. For me, the whole thing is mitigating mental illness, like mitigating anxiety and stress and anger. Get that out, clean your mind out, and then make sure you have energy. Mm-hmm. The only way you can get things done is if you have fucking energy, especially like writing. Like people don't consider writing a physical health thing. But if you're tired, you're not going to write as good. You're not going to have the enthusiasm. You're not going to have the energy. It's like for everything, you need energy.
Yeah.
And there's only one way to get that. You have to have a healthy body. You have to. It's like a part of the job. It should be a part of the job. I try to tell it to fat comedians. I'm like, I know you're great, but look, we lost Patrice when he was in his 40s. If Patrice was alive today, he'd have the #1 podcast in the world. If Patrice was alive today, he'd be selling out arenas. Mm-hmm. We lost him because he just didn't take care of himself. That's it. It's the only reason why.
No, it's super important, not only for the comedy, but even looking at my kids now. I'm an older father, so I want to do those things with my kids, whether it be skiing.
Right,
like
have fun.
They went skiing, or we went skiing in December, and my wife loves skiing, and of course, I'm at the fucking bottom of the hill waiting for the. I'm you know what I've become, or was becoming. Say hi to Daddy. You know, like we go to Disneyland. They're on the rides.
You don't do the rides?
Oh, fuck no. I never do rides. I throw up in my lap when I do these rides.
Really?
Yeah.
All of them?
Yeah.
No Space Mountain?
No.
Space Mountain's amazing.
No.
So fun.
I got a weak stomach, Joe. I can barely take the takeoff on a flight, let alone drop in.
Claustrophobia.
Yeah, I'm a mess, bro. Claustrophobia, no biceps, and fear of roller coasters.
Things can be a lot worse.
No, I'm fine. I complain for the sake of comedy.
I know. I understand.
But I'm blessed.
Yeah. You're back out here in August. What are you doing in August?
I'm doing the Moody Center.
Nice.
Moody Center.
That's a great venue.
I've never been there. I heard it's brand new, but it's
it's amazing. It's an amazing venue. Yeah. It's this is a great town for comedy right now. There's a lot of big time comedy fans here now. Yeah,
well, I mean your club, which I'm dying to do, and I'm sorry that I didn't get out here to do it, but I'm definitely want to do the ship. I hear great things about it.
Yeah, next time you're in town, come by and hang out with us for a couple of days. You know, we do shows Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are my shows, and there's shows 7 nights a week.
Great, yeah. I want to make it more of a meal next time I come out.
Yeah,
this is kind of an in and out thing. I want to utilize the. I want to see if I can get in the tank.
Yeah,
yeah.
You could do it.
No, I want to maybe.
You want to take an edible first? Want to really do it?
You know what?
Baby steps.
I want to do an edible, but I want to I know some people come in here and go, "Hey, you got an edible?" Like,
Don't do that.
I can't do anything unless I do a test run
Right.
at home.
Right.
So whatever you got here, what is this? Rogi? What is this?
Oh, these are just nicotine.
Oh, that's nicotine.
These are nicotine.
What's the good? I'm looking to get into maybe an edible every now and then.
Well, California is a perfect place to do it because you can get those nice 10 milligram edibles.
10 milligram. You eat the whole thing.
Easy. We try 5. Just try 5. Eat half of it.
And what is it? Is this the type of thing where you're like, oh, hey, this is great, or is this
maybe or deep paranoia? Depends on how much you take.
I don't need to be
You might go
paranoid
down
anymore
the
than I already
dark.
I don't do dark. I think
You
I
might
told
think
you
about these solar flares that head our way. Do you hear about these solar flares? There's solar flares that are supposed to reach us on the 10th and the 11th to some mass coronal ejections that could play havoc with our communication systems, our satellites, could shut down the power grid if one's big enough. You haven't heard about this?
Joe, come on, look at me.
I barely heard about this. A friend of mine who's actually a legitimate scientist actually warned me about this. He said it's really strange that we're not being told about the potential impact of this. Earth prepares for solar storm impact from 3 CMEs this weekend. Solar activity has reached high levels in the past 24 to 36 hours with background flux at or near M10. I don't know what that means. The most significant developments from the sun include the growth and merging of regions 3664 and 3668, as well as the production of numerous M-class solar flares and 2 X-class solar flares from what CME is coronal mass ejection that are expected to arrive at Earth this weekend.
Joe, no, keep this up there. If this was me and you sent me this article,
Right.
Say, read this about solar flares. You know, would it turn me off right from just visually?
Okay.
3664, I see that in a paragraph. I ain't reading it. Just the numbers alone.
The
turn
regions?
Me off.
See, I'm the opposite.
Whatever you read just now didn't even register in my head. Couldn't even comprehend it. Did you get any of that?
For me, what I got is a deep respect for these people that they're not just watching the sun, but they've made regions of the sun. So they can refer to these specific regions where this solar activity is taking.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The 10th and the 11th, that's what my friend was telling me.
X2.23B flare.
He was actually concerned that his wife was going to be out of town while this was happening. He's like, you should have food, and you should be prepared. Yeah. Despite this, go back up. The region continued to produce optical flares, radio bursts, and an isolated M class. That's one of the craziest things about the sun. The sun is not static. It's like fuck. It's all over the place. It's got these giant ejections that happen that could cook our satellites. And in the past, before we had the kind of infrastructure that we have today, there was a big mass ejection, I think, that they recorded in the 1800s that like took out communications for whatever they had back then.
You know, I like the sun, Joe.
You like a tan?
Beautiful tan.
Are you a beach guy? Do you like going on beach on vacations?
Love the beach.
A little margarita, sit there.
Little margarita, a little Mexico beach vibe. Sit down, have my kids build a little sand castle, go in the water.
Mexico makes me nervous. Did you hear about those surfers that just got killed in Mexico?
Why do you gotta ruin it, Joe?
They found them in a well, shot in the head in a well. They stole their car and shot him in the head and threw him down a well.
I'm at the beach with a margarita, and you're in a well with three gun wounds to the head. Why do you got to ruin the visual for me, Joe? Come on.
I mean, I don't know what happened to these guys, but shit can go.
Yeah, it
shit
could go
can get
sideways.
Western
Shit can go sideways
when you're in Mexico.
Yeah, no,
Mexico surfer death. Man charged, confessed to girlfriend. Oh wow. Kill these 2 dudes over a car.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Their bodies are found dumped in a cliffside well 6 days after they disappeared, each with a gunshot to the head.
It's terrible. There's shit that could.
Yeah, there was a 4th body that had been there longer, was unconnected to the case.
All right, there goes
that's their spot.
There goes the family trip to Mexico.
That's their spot. Most of the time people go to Mexico, it's no worries at all.
Yeah, no,
I went down there once and I was worried, and then I saw Halle Berry there. I'm like, oh, she's here. No, I'm not worried.
Yeah. I feel if
She's
you
gonna
see
be
Holly
all right.
Berry anywhere, it's like it's
Yeah,
okay.
She's gonna be fine. Yeah.
Joe, I don't know.
Mexico worries me though, but it's just like it's controlled by the cartels. I mean, the country is essentially controlled by the illegal drug market.
So you would not go to Mexico?
I've gone to Mexico. I love Mexico, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different kind of sketchy, and they're generally protective of tourists. because
Generally,
they
yes.
don't, you know,
They don't wanna
they
fuck up
don't
the
want to fuck,
tourism.
and then the government will come down on them if someone kills tourists.
It could happen on Wilshire Boulevard.
It
in
will
Los
happen
An-
on Wilshire Boulevard
Right?
in Los Angeles. That's why I don't live in Los Angeles.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, it can happen anywhere really,
Anywhere now.
but Los Angeles is a higher likelihood of shit going sideways.
Yeah. No, I agree.
What's it like?
What's it like?
You enjoying it?
There's been many of conversations over dinner. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you went through that prior to
Well, I know
moving.
you looked out here for a little bit.
I looked out here
Now's
for
a
a
good
little
time to look.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of great houses that are available.
Okay.
A lot of money came here. A lot of people came here. A lot of building got done here. There's a lot of, like, I have a great real estate agent if you're still interested.
The growth is exponential.
Yeah.
The quality of life is fantastic.
It's much better.
Okay. But I got off the airplane
The heat?
and I was sweating
Yeah.
right out of the gate.
Can't take that?
I don't know. I don't like heat. I don't like heat.
You don't like heat?
I don't like humidity. So that is a big factor of moving anywhere, whether it be Florida, Texas.
Los Angeles gets pretty fucking hot, dude.
It does get hot. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying this is like a different kind of heat for me.
It's a wet heat.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's better
right?
for your skin, though.
But maybe. And we've often tossed around, is Los Angeles the place for us? With me is I got a family there. I got my mother there. My sister's there.
What about San Diego?
Nah.
No?
No, not a big San Diego guy.
Really?
No.
I love it down there.
I love Florida.
Florida's great, too.
I
Thought
really-
about there?
I have family in Naples,
Hot as
Florida.
fuck.
Hot as fuck, though.
Yeah. Hotter than here.
Yeah, I feel like if you go to one of these places that have
People
a
are
hot
dumber,
summer,
too.
they're dumber in Florida?
Yeah, they're dumber.
Okay.
Generally.
I'll fit right in.
There's some brilliant people in Florida, don't get me wrong. But I would, if you had to do like a statewide IQ test, it might be disturbing.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of people escaped to go to Florida.
Yeah.
Florida's a place where people ran from their past.
I just feel like if I go to Florida, I'm running from paying an exorbitant amount of money in taxes.
That's
And-
true, too.
And quality of life might be better.
It would be better. And that's Texas, too. Texas doesn't have state taxes either.
Yeah, I know.
California has 14%, which is insane.
It's insane.
It's so high.
This morning I took a beautiful walk along your what is this, a river you guys got running through the city?
Lady Bird Lake. Yeah.
Lady Bird Lake, right? Read
Yeah.
about the bats
Yeah.
and had a night and just let people hello and it's nice. It's a nice vibe out there. I'm not gonna lie.
But
But I'm rooted over there. So
yeah, I was rooted too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it to be rooted in a place that sucks.
I
It's
understand.
just the conflict, the feeling like, why am I still here? I don't have any of that here. That I had that feeling for a while in LA, even before the pandemic. I'm like, do I really need to be here? But I just didn't know another way to do it. It was like there's no other way to do everything that I want to do. Podcast, comedy. I'm in LA. This is like, I guess this is where I live.
From the time you started to think about moving to the time you moved, what was that years wise?
I have been thinking about it for a long time. I lived in Colorado for a little bit in 2009. But I had been thinking about it for a while, but it didn't seem possible. But then when the pandemic hit, it was like, okay, the whole world is different now. Now you got to move. Like, you got to get the fuck out of here because LA was going sideways. And I'm of the opinion that once things start going bad, it takes a long time, especially in a Democrat-controlled state. It takes a long time for things to turn around, if they turn around at all. And everybody has this idea of, oh, this is L.A. L.A.'s like that. I'm like, no, it's not like that anymore. They're burning cop cars in the middle of the street, looting businesses. They're letting people do it. There's smash and grabs. They're just telling you can't shop after 6 p.m. This is madness. We got to get the fuck out of here. That was my take. My take was like, this is not the same L.A. anymore. You don't stay in your house while it's on fire just because, like, but it's my house. No, it's on fire. You got to get out.
No,
So that was my take.
And the family was on board?
Yeah, they loved it.
All right.
Well, the kids were young enough. You know, my youngest were 10 and 12 when we came here, and we got them to my real estate agent. She's brilliant. She took us to the lake, and the girls were on a boat. We were all hanging out. We were jumping in the water together and swimming, and people were listening to fucking Leonard Skinner, and people were singing and drinking, and it was like everybody was having fun, and there was no masks. Whereas in L.A., everyone was like terrified and locked down, and so this was in May of 2020. It was only 2 months into the
2 months
pandemic,
in.
and I was already trying to get out. And then by August, I was already here.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, fuck you guys. And then by October, Dave and I started doing shows. We started doing shows at Stubbs. And then November, we started doing indoor shows here. Like, Jesus Christ. And then it was crazy. And then the influx, everybody started moving here. Segura moved here. Tony Hinchcliffe moved here. Brian Simpson moved here. Derek Poston, Hassan Ahmad, they moved here. William Montgomery moved here. Ron White was already here. Duncan Trussell moved here. Tim Dillon moved here. It just started getting crazy.
Yeah.
Joe DeRosa just got a spot here. Joey's coming next week. It's been amazing. But it had, all those things had to like take place in the exact right order. It's almost like you had to hit every green light on the road. It's just all the things had to happen the right way to be able to happen.
Yeah.
To make what actually took place. It's kind of crazy.
It is nuts that this place, I mean, I just looked around the city. I mean, the amount of buildings that are going up is crazy. The only thing I do see, do you think the infrastructure of the city can withstand the amount of people here, like the roads and the traffic? And
They're doing work on that. They're expanding things. There's going to be growing pains for sure. There's obviously a lot more traffic now than there was 10 years ago. But it had always been growing.
Yeah.
Because I remember, my business On It was out here, and so we were coming out here for On It, and every time I'd come out, like over the years, I'd notice like traffic was picking up more and more before the pandemic. But then during the pandemic, obviously there was a mass influx of people like, we're getting the fuck out of California, and that was the biggest factor.
I'm not arguing with you, Joe. It's a great move.
I know, it just takes, you have to decide, because no place is going to be like, oh my God, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Every place is going to come with a thing. But this thing is like also like way cheaper. It's way cheaper to live here.
Yeah.
You get more for your money if you're trying to buy a house, and your state taxes are non-existent, which is
Beautiful.
just way
That's
better.
beautiful.
Because, look, if California was perfect and I had to pay a lot of money, but they kept the streets clean and there was no crime and everybody's having a good time and there's great schools and great social programs, like this feels good. I feel like I'm spending a lot of money in taxes, but man, I live in a fucking utopia. I love it. It doesn't feel like that at all.
No.
It feels like you're getting fucked by people who tell you they're going to fuck you and they have to fuck you. And if you don't want to get fucked, you're a part of the problem.
Yeah.
Like, oh. Okay, I gotta get out of here. I don't
Well
feel like
said.
that here, though.
Well said.
I don't feel like that here. I don't feel like that when I'm in Nashville. I don't feel like that when I'm in Florida. I think there's parts of this country that haven't lost their fucking minds, and people gravitate towards those parts where people like realize, like, hey, there's some real need for law and order. There's some real need for rules. There's some real need for, you gotta have your fucking ducks in a row. You can't let psychos take over the school systems and teach nonsense. Like there's a good mixture. And I think Austin's the best mixture because it's a liberal city. It's a very, very progressive city that's surrounded by ranchers. It's surrounded by fucking people in the small towns that are all, driving pickup trucks and shooting signs, and it keeps everything balanced.
Yeah, it's a nice balance here.
Because even the most liberal people here, they're so much more reasonable than liberal people that I would meet in L.A. Mm-hmm. Liberal people in L.A. were cult members, and they felt like if you weren't on their team, you were some kind of a Nazi, and you shouldn't be allowed to vote. You definitely should lose your job.
It's a tough place to live, Joe. I'm not gonna argue with you.
Yeah. When you come back in August, I'll take you around.
Yeah,
and it'll
come
be a
back,
good time
take
to
me
know
around.
if you hate it, because it'll be hot as fuck.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna burn my skin off.
August
but
is
we're
going to be sweaty and hot, but it's beautiful. And the food. Ooh, there's so much good food here, Sebastian. There's so much good food. So much good food.
No, I come back. We'll do a proper Austin run.
All right. Do it for a few days. You got anything to tell people about?
Got a major tour, July 11th, called the It Ain't Right Tour.
It Ain't Right.
A lot of stuff in Los Angeles. It ain't right. So that starts July 11th in Norfolk, Virginia, and I'm currently shooting Bookie.
Oh yeah, you're on a show with a Chuck Lorre show.
Chuck
right?
Lorre show on Max, which we're in our second season. We're shooting that. And
who's in that with you?
Omar Dorsey's in it. Andrea Anders, Vanessa Ferlito.
I've heard good things about it. I've heard it's a great show.
Really fun show.
I want to watch it.
Yeah.
So it's on Max?
It's on Max. We got 8 episodes on there right now, and then we're filming.
Boy, that guy Chuck Lorre, that fucking guy's done it all.
Hits, bro. Hits.
Nothing but hits. My family's addicted to the Big Bang Theory right now. So my youngest, my wife, and I watch the Big Bang Theory. I've watched like 100 episodes over the last 4 months.
Yeah, it's
fucking
crazy.
Great. I underestimated that show tremendously because I had seen clips online. I'm like, this show sucks. And then you watch it, go, this is a funny show.
Yeah.
It's a really well-made show.
Really great writer, and this is my first TV series, so to have this guy.
Really?
Yeah. So I did a pilot years ago with Tony Danza playing my dad. Never got off the ground. But,
how is it like meeting Tony Danza?
Oh, great. I grew up with Tony Danza, Taxi, and he's the boss, and he played my dad, and he was really, really good. But that was a network show, and never picked it up. And
are they making 4-camera, like multi-camera sitcoms anymore?
Yeah,
on networks.
I don't know about networks, but
Miss Pat shows
Pat's got one.
Yeah, she's got a multi-camera show. But I mean, do any network like what is on like network TV on like Thursday night now? What's there? Is it all like The Bachelor show?
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I think
that kind of shit.
A lot of like reality, maybe dating shows,
game shows, reality shows,
Big Brother, or what have you. But yeah, no,
it used to be all sitcoms.
It used to be all sitcoms. I mean, you were part of that world.
Well, that's why like watching The Big Bang Theory make me say like I enjoy sitcoms. It is a great way to consume entertainment. You don't see them anymore. Here he is. Look at this, come in.
Vanessa Lachey was my
come
wife.
In.
So it was like talk to camera. So I would do a little talk to camera, and then I would pop back into the scene. So the talk to camera for me was like, oh, I could show my comedy a little bit here, and then I would go back into the scene. But yeah, man,
I wonder if sitcoms are going to come back.
Maybe.
I hope they do. If networks are smart, they'll put together some multicam sitcoms because it's still a fun art form. It's still a fun way to consume humor.
Yeah, it is, and it'll come back. It'll come
think
back. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know either.
We'll see. Maybe. And also, I have a podcast, Pete and Sebastian Show, which we're now.
Say hi to Pete for me. I haven't talked to Pete in forever.
Pete's a good dude.
I can't believe that you said before I saw you here today that I haven't seen you in 4 years.
5.
Is it really 5?
2019, I believe, was the last time I was on your show. So.
But I've seen you since then. Seen you at the store. In 2019, I think. Before the pandemic, I think I saw you.
Yeah, that was 2019. It was 5 years ago.
Yeah, almost. In March it'll be.
I definitely haven't seen you out here. It's my first time out here. But I want to tell you congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
Even walking through this place before I came in to know, like, I saw you at the Comedy Store hanging out in the parking lot, and now you're floating in a tank in your own warehouse. It's unbelievable.
Like, congratulations to you, too, because I remember when you first started. I really do. I remember your first struggles at the store.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I saw you. I was in Vegas. I was working in Vegas, and I was in my hotel room by myself, flipping through the channels, and I saw your special, and I think it was a Showtime special. And I remember tweeting it. Like, it was fucking great.
No,
it was great.
You actually reached out to me and said, hey, man, this is really good stuff. It's funny. Eleanor Kerrigan was on a podcast, and somebody sent it to me, and she's like, oh, my God, Sebastian was awful. Just awful when he first started. Everybody at the Comedy Store knew it. They're like, how did this guy get past? And I'm sitting there listening to this going, fuck, I didn't think I was bad. Like, it's funny, like, what you think you are and what people are saying. I didn't know any of that. I thought,
Well, the problem was you started out as an open micer at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, which is crazy.
Yeah. That's
like learning how to play football with the Giants.
Yeah.
Like, it's nuts. Like just the idea behind it is nuts. Like it's a very, very difficult way to break into comedy. And so everybody's terrible in the beginning. If they'd seen me 6 months in, they're, oh my God, he fucking sucks. Like, how did he get past?
I know, but to hear it,
Ooh,
to
yeah.
hear it was like, oh wow, I had no idea, and not to even know you suck is awful. Like I knew I was like learning, but I was like, I didn't know people were like, this guy should be pumping gas. So you know what? I don't know if you've ever had this on your podcast. What are you guys north of 2,500 episodes here?
Something like that.
I drank way too much water, right?
Before the podcast?
During.
Oh, so you got to pee right now real bad.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I see your face. We can wrap this up. The tour, all that, where can the people find the information?
SebastianLive.com. Get your tickets to the
Get
tour.
your tickets.
It's going to be, and I can't give anything away, but I'm into a lot. I like production at my shows. Not only the comedy, but the experience. So we got
Beautiful.
We got some surprises on the tour.
Nice.
And coming
Nice.
to Austin, Texas. When is that?
August 9th.
August 9th.
If I'm here, I'm there.
All right.
I would love to see it. Great to see you again, and congratulations to all your success, too. It's been beautiful to watch.